about to be streaming. Hold on. RVA Rap Elite, episode 51, recap. Myself, Nickelus F here. He's going to be off camera for a bit, taking care of some things while we work through these, through this Cypher. Easalio should be on a little bit later. We're going to get started in just a minute. Let me go ahead and share the stream. Appreciate those that are tuning in already. We got some big things coming up in the next few weeks. RVA Rap Elite episode 52 going down at Ember Music Hall September 24th. And 1 week before that, we have Southpaw Battle Coalition sanctioned event September 17th. You are able to get a bundle ticket right now for both events for $30 at rvarapelite.com. So definitely make your way over to do that. And yeah, man, the MC draft for episode 52 is going down right here next Wednesday at 8 p.m. So make sure you also tune in for that. We got a lot of other things coming up. All right, but I'm going to get started with this Cypher.
And the mystique of this platform comes from, this is what this platform was built about, lyricism. Let me share this with my judges. This kiss. That's clear.
Do it up right. I think the first MC of the night was Old Dirty Vegan.
New baby, like brand new, boy. I don't know, man. Born fresh about a man up. Got it off my kicking and with it, bring me a bag up. Started in that bucket that I picked up in the lamb truck. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifice like still in lamb cuts. Spare rappers never seen real villain and folks from North Carolina. I be a dream, feel villain. I'm from Virginia, nigga, like Cliff Bell, Lord willing. God know the illest underneath the Lord's ceiling. Dirty back, yeah, came to kill. Better get out while you can, even Jordan would feel. These niggas gotta have not support was real, but I get it. I used to wing it like a Jordan shoe did. Bet your bitch only know a nigga as an awesome fellow. Was nigga green, give it long sticks like I'm Donatello. Super short, separate nuggets like I'm mellow. Hello, it could be Keith Speech, Sparrow, or Fellow. Fuck who your favorite is, they walk it wrong in a pillow. The spasm like this is Donkey Kong on Nintendo. When I was freestyling for hours, right out a window. Catching contacts off clouds and had to get though. The wrong stuff was cooking on beats, the rap was simple. I'm at the crib ordering I'm at the crib practicing my nunchucks and ninja shoes, ordering Indian. That's supposed to check and get the loot. No sub-zero, one cold line to finish you. Think fall after the close line to injure you. Big border, these little rappers, that shit is minuscule. Yeah, not even a blip on the radar. My young boy riding shotgun, gripping the AR. Look at him once, he like say no more. Protect the fam, the whole leg gon' get wet like the ball. Especially old niggas, he can still like it raw. Thought I said it before, they not ready for war. Soon as I step on the stage, I'ma make the whole food change. Chinese, I'ma rush on their army. It was Ukraine. Look at my eyes, you can tell I ain't too Yeah, yeah. Look at my eyes, you can tell I ain't too saying what you thought. I was coming back on the same cheek, saying I thought through my veins, just like a gay dick. Pop up on these niggas saying once a year like same dick.
All right. I thought that was like, to me, that was like one of my favorite Old Dirty Vegan verses.
Yeah, I think there was one that I liked better. But
Yeah.
I think that one's really good though. He has a lot of potential. Yo, if he can just if he was just polished,
Right.
he would be seriously really dangerous. He has a nice way of like how he thinks about things and puts stuff together.
Absolutely, and he has a dope voice. And I would say he has good vocal projection, but I do feel like he was cuffing the mic. So you couldn't really hear him clearly at first, and then a little bit better as it went along. But I don't think it was because of anything other than cuffing the mic. Like I feel like he was projecting well, but I feel like he was kind of smothering the mic with the way he was holding it. But there was some dope lines in there. The Nugget, the Carmelo line. It was another. It was like a good 3 or 4 solid punches in that verse. And then the flow and the remainder of just the way he kind of put it together was good. Only thing was the stumbles. The stumbles are what really hurt him in that one. No big chokes, but like 3 stumbles, and didn't close strong either. And that's always going to hurt you. I'm trying to see if I can pull up scores. Real quick. Yeah. We both gave him a 7.5. Ease gave him a 6. And I think a 7.5 with those stumbles is definitely, saying a lot for what we thought.
For what he said.
He said. But yeah, I mean, I would say, and he said it in the chat last night too, as he's signed up for episode 52. Sorry, I have this one titled incorrectly. It's actually episode 51 Cypher breakdown that we're doing right now. But yeah, so I would just say more of the same. Vegan, push the pen, even a little bit harder. Maybe give us a little bit of variance on the flow, and maybe add a little bit more wordplay. But I really, right now, I just want, if I could have got that verse projected clearly and no stumbles, that would have been a better thing to discuss. You know what I'm saying? Because if you bring another verse like that and perform it at the peak of your game, I think we're seeing some breakout scores. So
agreed.
These 4 wars to talk, they say I'm innocent. Focus on the innocent. Niggas aiming for my spot, and they got me blocked, they ain't worth ditching. Cold souls in this cold world. Niggas dread hearing me rapping, so these niggas shivering. They bitching and they bickering. They thinking that they sizzling. They ain't even simmering. What drugs they be getting in? If I know a nigga on the soul with me, as cold as me, that shit don't feel like I'm bittering. I ain't even quitting shit. I can still rap niggas in the cold cold, even if my hands I told you that I'm about it. The lane that they got it. Ran into my lane, so I had to reroute it. Ran into some trouble trying to get a better rustle. I'm a rustle how I started. They got he allowed it. I rose on the concrete too. If you can make a film, then fuck nigga, I can too. She call me weedy because I'm taking off the ceiling. I'm penicillin, different sick pan with legal writings. I'm about forgiving. This up beginning to your ending. Cause fucking with me, your decision will be pending. That's how I'm feeling. Try to figure rappers to back. Mix them in the bullet, I press and sharp, bending 40 with me with a spinning. Cause what I got shot thinking, y'all my lean in the bed. I'm about to start spinning. And it's all ringing if my money start niggas attack, cause niggas get pussy like that. Don't tell me relax. Nah, man, I'm giving you back. Sounds like rap. Do anything to get on the map. My top Nickelus F is always sitting in the back. That TV stress, like that show on MTV. You'll see the next 3 days, bringing at least 3 sets, wearing at least 3 sets. So niggas give me respect. Cause I swear that I put my fucking foot on their necks. You did?
Shout out to Charnel. I love Charnel. Her approach to rap is always fresh. Just I like the stance. I like the vocal projection. She's always pushing herself to do a little bit more each time. I wouldn't say this to me lyrically wasn't her best verse. But I still like some of the things. I still like the things she was doing. Like the strap line. I thought that was clever. But yeah, I would just like to hear push, just push that pen a little bit more. I've heard some more creative lines from her in previous ciphers. But I thought she was rapping her ass off still. What you think? Or were you able to catch it?
Oh yeah, nah, I heard it. I'm getting bad service. I thought it was good. I feel like there's kind of like some issues with timing and the delivery a little bit. And maybe kind of like switching the cadence up, where the cadence initially started.
Oh, I can't hear you again. I think we might have. Did we lose you? While we're getting him back, Charnel had a range of scores. I gave her 8. Ease gave her a 6.5. Nick gave her a 7. I would say that the 8 is a tad generous. Just a tad though. Because I think it was a dope verse, but I probably would have rocked it like somewhere like a 7.5. But Charnel, you're constantly pushing yourself. I love what you did with this verse. And I think you'll continue, but I can definitely agree with Nick on some of the cadence, kind of getting in and out of pocket on this one. But yeah, I expect that will continue to improve. So let's see. F, you with us still? Yeah. I'll just go ahead and play. Keep bringing that support system out.
All right. Next team up to the stage. Team Henny Low, Marty Mobile, Chef Token, Shalicia Sanders. Team Henny Low, Marty Mobile, Chef Token, Shalicia Sanders. plan was to never get caught. Repeat factors, more than a stat. Game average is the fact that I can flag the stack. So keep passing. More with the same, I was the class. More with the same, I was the class. More with the same, I was. Yeah. I take my time when I write lines. I'm swimming in the and I go down.
I'm gonna move on through Chef joint because we it was a lot of stumbles in that joint, and I will say it's just, you know, it's difficult to really assess that. All I can say is preparation. Gotta get that preparation together, get your memorization up, finish your verse early, and get that. Not when I ain't say finish your verse early, but get your first drive down, y'all. And if you're gonna tweak, you know, tweak as things go along, but keep your memorization up, so you can have it down pat.
Yeah. Yo, I need y'all to respect the mic. It's getting wild flavor in here. I need y'all to respect the mic. We here for the MCs. We not here for your tea time. It's not tea time right now. That's you with your mouth open. I'm not even looking at you. Whoever you with your mouth open, that's you. All right. So when the beat come on, let's shut that combo down. Yeah. But I got 3 people I need, so I took you out the equation for that and chuck and nuisance. I do not believe in truths, like compromise just a nuisance. I do not need no common ground within that you like students. I'm the ruthless, only ruthless, I can see a show. I am not the type of friend you want to turn to a foe. Yeah, I got niggas in the 919 to 804 and 404. They would not hesitate to knock in 808 by action. Got niggas who attack the kitchen, higher than the broken notes. And niggas who don't show the turkey, lower than your niggas go. Niggas that be rolling out so hard, they never keep them going anywhere. I broke my hat, you better want to go.
What happened here? And I just moved this along. That's crazy. Sorry, guys. Not sure what's slowing things up. Just a minute.
We're talking 1 + 1 is 2, but I got 3 people I need, so I took you out the equation for that and chuck and nuisance. I do not believe in truths, like compromise just a nuisance. I do not need no common ground within that you like students. I'm the ruthless, only ruthless, I can see a show. I am not the type of friend you want to turn to a foe. Yeah, I got niggas in the 919 to 804 and 404. They would not hesitate to knock in 808 by action. Got niggas who attack the kitchen, higher than the broken notes. And niggas who don't show the turkey, lower than your niggas go. Niggas that be rolling out so hard, they never keep them going anywhere. I broke my hat, you better want to go. You gotta get it while you're here. You cannot be courageous if you stay living in fear. When the water's getting murky, that's when everything was clear. All you do is run the sheep, that's why I don't receive my shears. Doing what you always done will get you what you always got. You ain't never been a boss, will make you think you talking shots. All that is you looking loose, you never know the whole knots. You just be holding on to nonsense. Must got that from your mouth. Like opposite, and you see who at the top before your homies run the streets. You can't run the shit, just stop it. You can twist the church and pop it. When it's really games, I'm shocking. She wasn't but not made for you. You might as well just be shocking. Yeah! I'm gonna give that. And look, nigga, I'm sorry, and I keep waking up with nothing on my plate. See your trauma got me frosty, I'm gon' take it. I started learning how to break down that and get it all from scratch, my nigga. You know what that takes, a lot of sleep and making beats.
All right, Mel.
Make some noise for that team.
All right. Once again, you know, preparation would have helped to close it out and probably would have allowed for her to perform just a little bit more. Well, Shalicia Sanders, we call her Mel still too, to perform a little bit more confidently and project a little better. But dope verse though, dope verse. One of those verses also still that only Mel could give you, only Shalicia Sanders can give you. It's that game, that the slick talk, the wisdom. She's given the bar about the shears, the sheep and the shears was crazy, and then all the loose ends, and y'all talking about you holding knots. That was nuts. The loose ends and the knot holding knots, that was crazy. I've never heard that juxtaposition before, and that wordplay. I mean, that metaphor before. So that was dope. But obviously, yes, you know, make sure you get that preparation up so you can close strong. And give me some more of those lines. Give me more of those lines throughout. She's gonna give you the game, so it's not gonna be a back-to-back. So you got to be able to get some of that their game off too. But yeah, dope verse.
All right. I wonder, yo, Riley, can we get a little more volume on that mic up there?
Yes, please.
Do I have to do one? It's both sound the same to me. So, yeah, this one's better. All right. All right. Next team up to the stage, Team Bryce, Mal, Exit 23, and All-American Muslima. Make some noise for Team Bryce. In that order, Mal first, Exit 23. You know, just jumping up on that stage. Mal.
Yep. What's up, y'all? I ain't been here in a minute. All right, here we go. All right. Yo, these niggas sweeter than a honey ham, scrambled like a Cunningham. Last nigga got his jaw wide like a bunny where the sun is saying, let me run him down. Stay wildin' with goals, you from the corner like Ray Allen. Peeping all over the green, steak salad. Charged like a Tesla, giving you great mileage. Stand tall, didn't fall off. The great times, the Cape Palace. You won't see me waiting. In the streets, we pump gas like a BP station. Coming clear, HD on the TV station. And I'm throwing up the dough like a pizza maker. Made her apologize. I need a maker. I need this paper. Strange got the sweetest flavor. And the 5-stick jack, I don't need no cable. And the bars on point, I don't need no label. Got the plate in my hand, I don't need no table. I can shake my own land, I don't need no neighbors. Got the quans in my hands, ain't around no broke brothers. I swear the shit is ugly like the chick from Ghostbusters. But this the man child when they say that the ghost coming. Louise all that, well nigga, this smoke son. Pill poppin', fresh out of school, they broke bumming. Wildly Coyote when he chasing the road runner. In the store, the white lady try to act like a stove son. Niggas in the trap right now with the stove jumping. Can't tell if he's hot or he's sick cause his nose running. The phone thumping, they stay ready for any trauma. Good times, the boy gon' act like Penny Mama. I'm cracking this teacher, man, I'm giving these niggas problems. special needs flow. You ain't know that I've been retarded. A work of artist, renaissance, hitting targets. I'm diabolic, dropping knowledge, Swedish chocolate. You pop blocking, ain't ball, you out of pocket. The street profits, getting popping like red and blocking. The ops watching, bottle popping you out of options. Let's say I lost it, still sticking to Kobe Carter. And your man's smoking coffin. That's suicide driving. So chill for your boy, have a stroke like a parrot. Your boss talking private, the weed and the grinder. You think about trying to forget it like Alzheimer's. You's a small timer. Man, you don't want to fuck with me. The streets got big ass rats like Chuck E. Cheese. Sticky ass blue, now shorty still stuck with me. 12 on the block, and we bounce like the jumping bean. Spoke to the blind truth, he told me I got more to see. Stand for a flag on like Kaepernick upon the knee. Put it in a bag or melatonin flow. Tell the kids time to go to sleep.
Listen. Mall went crazy. I can't hear you. Wait. I still can't hear you. Are you muted? No? No. Damn, I don't know why I can't hear you. That's strange. If I take you off of here, say something now? No? All right. Yes, so honey ham, get your jaw wired like a money gram. Penny Mama. Now, okay, let me say this too about Mall's verse. There was some he was punching back to back. There was some really dope punches, and then there were punches that we've heard before. You know what I mean? I like the I ain't like Penny Mama, but I've heard that line before. It was a handful of those, but the your man get stumped like a pirate. The Chuck E. Cheese was borderline, but I liked it. I liked the way it was delivered. Even the lines that I feel like I've heard before, the way they were delivered, and the conviction, and the flow, I liked it. The only thing I will say is that I felt like the rhyme for a lot of this time, for a good amount of time, was kind of out of the pocket of the beat. But it was a dope verse, a jumping bean line, a lot of dope lines, a lot of good character, which we always get from Mal. Let me take a look and see what them scores look like, because I feel like I scored them high. He was ranked 9.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yep.
Well. What I give him?
You gave him a 9. I gave him a 9.5. So he did.
Right.
He scored him an 8. So he did score high. He
he went off. I'll tell you this much. His projection is a thing to be admired. Sam's projection and clarity is like, it's like it's up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has great projection.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's like when he raps, there's definitely like a shift in the room, and that's like from the first time we
always.
From the very first time he ever showed up.
He commands attention.
Definitely commands attention. So yeah, shout out to Mal, dope verse. Like I said, I think he could have been maybe in pocket a little tighter, and maybe some of those lines might have hit in the room even harder, which might have drawn, led me from a 9.5 to a 10, but you're only a 0.5 away from a perfect score for me. Because I mean, it had everything I was looking for. So I really didn't have much complaints there. So
Hey, Like, shit, I'm supposed to top that, bro. Fuck. Damn. Want to hear me talk about why I'm talking about? Fuck it, alright. Hey, let me catch my breath. Hey, yeah, playing with the 12 gauge, hot topic. Instrumental got the pack, asking where the drop is. Sliding through off of cars, no traffic. Spitting those habits, smoking their bags. They was waiting for me, I was chilling in the attic. Been 64 back cookies out the cabinet. Writing on the wall, see with the black magic. See you, shit. Fuck you, Jacob. Send you to a new world with this under the mattress. Shit. Fuck you, Sandy, fuck me up. I got a freestyle, man. Like, what the fuck? I'm here to be I lost it. It's gonna cost me an arm and leg to get it back. Fuck it. I should have asked for those glasses that you had. They not wet. They're pretty cool. I used to have some back in school, but fuck it. I'm here now. 2023, 2020 vision, making a decision in the pain. Real day makes it 23. Even all the names. Fuck it.
We're gonna move past exit 23.
Yeah.
Blame the table, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Is his voice is cutting through more and more. His projection is coming through more and more. He's exuding more and more presence.
Yeah.
With just the past couple times, he had to say haven't been getting through his verse clear.
Yeah.
And he can write though.
And that's unlike him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gets through his runs. So let's get back on track. But I expect that he will. His writing has been up and the confidence has been up. Let's get you. Let's stop looking at the floor though.
Yeah.
Start looking into the audience and
step to the edge of the stage. Command it.
Step forward, and I bet you'll actually project even more. But yeah, you got to get out of that. There's a little shell there that you're still in. So you keep coming out of the shell, but get that preparation up for sure.
I stay ready. Fuck it, picked it off my feet and put it on the shelf. I picked the game up when I lose verses for the health. Yeah, that's all I got. I hope y'all fucking with it. I'll give it to the next person. It's their spot. Anxiety never stops me from saying things. Even when my palms sweaty, I stay ready. Make this beat that triggered me worse than therapy. Took me back to the 90s, post-Rodney King. To hypocrisy, as my pops heard this country in peace harass me. Constantly to say it's better than churches around me. With the M15, with the hours where I die with the fuck the police, yo. Was overseas, had my rap tape sent from the state. AK not put the posters all on the walls. The songs for the dopest quote, hoping one day it be something I wrote. My favorite doctor things, house things, bones of the new thing. But these days, nothing approach me like rookies. They try to do me, they so rude to me. Got a weak in the knees like brother, please. I just wanna show you the flow. Keep the rhythm beats, I'm putting on a big thought, pass it on, I need my tongue. Now you being nasty, sassy. Like a husband in a pin pit, tucking his ass kick. Within the zone of Panama with my head wrapped. Alone felt like home, and these girls call me blue like a blue cause I made my demons believers. How they drag me to see other demons that needed, and that's all that you see. It's okay, I can help you defeat them. Just repeat after me. When you see, I might end the video saying, make you stop all that nonsense that you're saying. I astral plane through the realm of the dead. Rise from that, tell you things that the ancestors said. I'm just, my tendency to do is keep my head on the swivel. Take that scarf off, I sit out. I'm coming through like Mary, mother, a piece of that Jesus. Make them think of all the things they believe. They see me breathing, randomly shouting out Jesus. That makes me a masterpiece, artistic, unexpected, highly artistic. Overanalyzing things like crime scenes and ballistics. Got some air mom in the kitchen, submissive, thinking basic positions, no competition, myself is missing, so I'm just chilling. I sit in the mindfulness mode, no meaning sex, protecting my cousin, I'm living out blood, I'm giving a fuck, now 1 fuck, 2 fuck, I'm giving a fuck, the feelings is hurt, I pop it today, any which way, not here to play.
All right. One thing I'll say on the upside of this, Muslims pushing through to get these verses out. one, a little clearer, and two, like actually getting through them without kind of having, having the anxiety breakdown sometimes we get. And I like the transparency and the storytelling. This verse had a lot of abstract references, but on the flip side, we definitely still got to work on that projection. I know that's a difficult thing for her. Definitely got to work on the projection, and also just each time up the confidence. Focus on what you have to say, not what anyone else might take from it. I think right now, beyond the technical aspects, is really getting to a point of being able to have your voice heard. I think that's like the most important piece right now for All American Muslima. And then from that, just kind of upping the rhyme pattern. So rhyming a little bit, rhyming more syllables inside each line. Because right now the rhymes are kind of sparse. So it's like the last words rhyming and being able to more so get out what you're saying. But the art of this is also to be able to intertwine those stories, that storytelling, with some technical rhyme scheming and layering of your rhyme structure. So basically, like, rhyme 2 to 3 more, or 2 to 3 syllables per line if you can, or at least just upping that count a bit more and developing it piece by piece. And then I would love to hear some more deeper metaphors, because I know I can tell that that's there. It's just a matter of getting confident where you at. The candy, she said, the candy made you choke up. Shout out to All American Muslima for tapping in.
For sure.
All right.
I'm almost done with
Next team up to the stage. Team Michael Millions, Keziah, Trey, and Uno. Keziah, Trey, and Uno, Team Michael Millions.
Yo. I'm a prodigy, little guy, my prejudice is majestic. Probability is not just a bunch of randoms. I'm chemistry, energy, I watch the candy phantom. Put me in the ring, but I'm divorcing all the carriers. I'm rising how I'm coming, I'm locked with all the carriers. Blow the skin, I let it pin my cheek and off a carrier. Mix me with a pipe on my face, but you America. Character development, I'm always in my element. Tighten out of what I got, I'm wrestling with sediment. Power level like the transport figures in the elephant. Deadlier than saying I can murder all the deadly. Melodics on my shoulder saying rocking with no demons. Be the word I shall light like the way between the seasons. Never falling in September, I'm not leaving on the axis. Never let a rapper tell me what I simply get to access. That's a bit that gonna fit this world, kinda like distracted. But I'm here to speak the truth, how this here really active. How the universe created, but we speak no in existence. We got power with a tongue, so a big bang had assistance. So I'm dealing with the scientists, they pick up alliances. Spell out with the government, how they make the mind test. But that's another subject from the lighthouse for the public. Matter of fact, we are republics, because our power is beyond it. We want that leaders, so how they call us shining. I said, I deserve a crown, and I'm the queen of my surroundings. I can label as a king, but what's a king without his highness? What's a light without the brightness? What's the battle when I'm fighting? I'm the pinnacle of rapping, I'm the varsity asylum. You can try to shake a storm, but the only way survival. Got the iron orange heart, got the instinct of a tiger. Got me walking through the fire, I be in heaven the fire. Sky is blue and I'm reflecting, I'm really a sapphire. Y'all ask me what my sign is, that's stick up in my sinus. The biggest person Oh, yeah!
Easalio. I hope F is still here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Definitely want to get your feedback. One, I have to say this first and foremost because I was saying this in the building projection. I don't know. It's so hard because she's got a soft voice.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. You know, it might be a matter of like finding the sweet spot on the microphone.
I mean, yeah, there might be some technicals in terms of like holding the mic. She really just like might have to practice though with just like pushing her voice out louder. You know what I'm saying? Like go outside, go in the car, and is practice belting it a little more. You know?
Yeah, and I think what makes that difficult for her is the rhyme style, right? So there's really no breaths in Keziah's style. But let me say before we get into that, because I know how important that is. So it's like we're trying to focus on that. But yo, she was going crazy in there.
Yeah, well, there's a girl.
You know, the rhyme scheme is cool. Like that's the thing about her flow is like I hate to have her break it too much because it is actually like her style. And I say this all the time. Sometimes until MCs master their style that makes them original can also be a hindrance to them.
Insightful.
You know, it's like it's hard for me to find a metaphor for that, but that's just to say it plain. That's just really what it is. It's like a lot of times the thing that makes you original or makes you different is also outside of the bounds of things that should be done. But that's what makes people original, right? When you're doing something that no one else does because it doesn't quite fit within within the lines, it's what makes you different. But until you master it, it's not good. Right? It's not a good thing. It doesn't.
Think about. I'm gonna try and make an analogy out of this. I'm gonna try my very best. Think about when Cyclops first figured out he had his mutant power and his eyes was just going crazy everywhere. He didn't know how to control it. He just blasting people away, killing people on accident until he learned how. Until he got with the professor. You feel what I'm saying? And he learned how to control his mutant power and be able to use it for good. So a thing that separated him and gave him his identity. You know what I'm saying? He was able to take, and use it in a positive way. So
100%. So that's what I speak to that a lot of times when I'm giving feedback. It's like a lot of same thing, like Madam V. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, this is the thing though. So like, and I'm glad that you said that because like that's a studio thing too, right? Like that's the thing that sounds good on songs. It'll sound good in studio. You just have to like make those adjustments for your live rapping. Like my like a verse that I know I'm going to spit live for a freestyle. I'm not going to write in the same way that I'll write if I know I'm going to be sitting in my chair in the studio rapping comfortably, not having to project really loud and all of that. I write for space to breathe. Like if I hit a line and I know it's going to get some reaction, or even if it took a lot for me to get that line out, I will leave myself a whole 2 beats to breathe and gather myself before I hop back into my bag.
I agree.
That's right, Monsky.
I agree, man. With that being said, yeah, because I would love to see you put some more space in between your rhymes, in between your lines, just to give yourself some room to breathe, which will also allow you to project a little bit louder without. Because I mean, if I tell you to push on projection, you're gonna run out of breath, and you might not actually get that verse out at all. So that's where that's where the style that you currently have can, until you figure out how to breathe and how to project with that style, which will only come with the repetition of performances, which is something that I know she's working on as well. Like I tell people all the time, you can go to places like Tuesday Versus, you can go to places like Melodic Mondays, and perform more regularly so that you have the repetitions that allow you to develop how to project and perform on a regular basis. So it's like one of the things I would say too is don't just go there and perform your songs or whatever. Go there if you're trying to work on how to effectively perform on the Rap Elite stage or perform your 2-minute verses. Take your old verse from the month before and go to an open mic and kick that verse with a band or with an instrumental or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Go rap that old verse. You know what I mean? Because you'll be able to get the feedback from that audience as to the things that you're saying. Though that might be your new public verse. You know, we used to have these things called public verses where we knew we had like, you know, this verse hits every time I rap it somewhere because it has these bars in it and people respond to it. That's how you learn that, though, rapping these exhibition verses in front of different audiences. Get outside and rap more. You know, like let people be tired of the fact that you know, always showing up somewhere rapping. But what'll happen is you'll continue to galvanize that confidence and galvanize your ability to find your voice. And when you get back on stage the next month and the month after that, you'll just keep getting better. They'll keep getting easier and easier for you.
They said this is the best sounding system in America in Richmond.
Yo, that song was so perfect on that beat, yo.
Y'all ready?
That's good.
Mediterranean, right? This bitch an alien, Korean, Armenian, color subway, white chocolate, macadamia, nut cranium, love for the game, like Jerry Tarkanian, next man up like ankle sprain is my game to win. Lost many, but I picked the day to win. Malaysia friend who don't smoke flower, but it take the pill. Who let Stacey in? Spread love and make them men like James. I'm fresh chef like a ghost, like my coat come from Park Hill to Stapleton. Judge not eating blood, right? Walk crawl boy, you can get the early spits. Too many rapper rats, toss them in the Mediterranean, swing like pigeons over those, it's just my mini facts. They go a tip attack on TikTok. This is Reaper rap, and this astonishing. Got a problem with it. Serious they ain't roll, man. What the fuck is Yannicky? I'm on the Yamaha, off Genito, but my guts is in the blood king. Bitch shot the car, 6 feet for a clover leaf. My left suck was a bigger crack, and we can smoke and shot cigarettes. Big Aaron got E40 and 2 short. This record we got featuring me after Newport. I shot you. Man past the week, I named Joshua. Saturday night, too late for the gospel. It's trend. It's only right that I watch you. Get your Rams broke, play your rhythm or your plagiarism. These cross-ass dummies looking past for these niggas. Is it about pity or let's speak about how shitty them? I'm Al Morton with the drill. Don't get your pop smoke. Real rich nigga, and I ain't sad to say that. I'm from a city where they mad you make it. Nigga walk across the stage and got killed. At least he graduated. The last thing they said in class was him. I'm from an era where you get your brother to fight. It's only some slight shit. Nowadays you get a nigga. I'm one of indictments. Radio who's real more fucked up. Me and these fighters. Yes, there's so much crap. Got the white boys when I look just fighting. Alabama River both do them slightly. If you ready to grab the fire, also grab basketball. Like Casey Simpson. Something sack on the phone. You my short baby, that's the fire. Mark Simpson throw up. You don't have to fight. Nigga, something simple. Brown.
Trig went crazy. Trig went crazy. The wordplay, the rhyme scheme early on is dope. A lot of dope lines in there. Running out of breath and kind of just like, but you could tell that was happening. C Spicy. He said, "Who's grill more fucked up, me or C Spicy?" That's what he said.
Yeah, it was that. It was really just the pacing towards the end. It was a dope verse though, and a good performance.
Definitely a good performance. Dope verse. You know, when Trig comes with the intention to like really shake shit up, you know, he usually does. You heard the audience reaction as well. This is what you go there for. This is what you show up for. So shout out to Trig. Definitely gotta pace yourself though. Gotta pace yourself, Trig.
Just give yourself a few spots to breathe, man.
Yeah, give yourself more spots to breathe, because that way you can actually rhyme a little bit with more clarity too, because I feel like there's points in the verse where we can't really make out what he's saying just because of the stress that he's saying. So it wasn't just,
I mean, that's the thing, y'all. Just remember, like, the verses y'all kick on them stages for this Cypher is not the same way that you rap in the studio. You got to make those adjustments.
Right, which means when you're practicing, you need to practice with full voice.
Yes, exactly. 100%. 100%.
Don't be practicing with the whisper or the
muscle memory.
Yeah.
Muscle memory will get you
100%. Because then once you get up there, you start going full voice, and you realize, man, this is more physically demanding than I expected. And then by then, you know, you got other elements like lighting. It might be hot on the stage, whatever. But if you ain't even pushed yourself physically before that time, it's going to be hell on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So make sure y'all pushing yourselves through your practice.
Football players on different turf.
I already know what going on here with Uno. He knows he don't want to see it either. Shout out to Uno. It wasn't his night. Preparation. We already know he brings crazy performances. So I'm sure he's coming back for the redemption on episode 52.
Thank you. I was wondering about that. Hold on. No. We must take the cue from Melodic. Richmond, y'all having a good time? Appreciate y'all. Look, so special treat for those in the building, right? Because you're in the building, because you're here, and because we want to have you back, we would like to have you at every episode. We have special $5 tickets. $5 tickets to the next episode. Well, actually, you can use those tickets for either the next episode or season finale. So if you see the table back there where Frank is at, and you were here and you're not an MC, but you want to come back next month or a month after, you can grab a $5 ticket. Some of y'all might have paid $20, $15 to get in here. You'll pay $5 if you want to come back next month. So just grab the $5 ticket before we leave out of here today. If that's what's up, say what's up. All right, that's what's up. We ready, Melodic? All right. Thank you. Is Pharaoh Splash Bandicoot. Let's get it. It's busy. Look, I waited my whole life for the moment to right here and notice this might be an omen. I be the cold child, chosen this like my opponent. Grab the mic and I smoke it execution style, right in the open your life in the rough hole. You throw the towel, that sting in your mind is pride. Not small, trying to prove you got heart. If he dies, he dies. Top dog till I use the knives with pride. We get it, impressive niggas, complexing the strong arm with deep wrist. You make your best, lay your head down and sleep in. Like me and slice, like we waiting for freezing. This is all my lullaby. It's an evil existence. Flooded out with being consistent. It ain't gonna keep me a butterfly. Low time sensitive. So I rhyme different. Come eyewitness. Slit lights. Is it a billion bites? In the mic, hold it like an ice pick. The city is close to dice. Experiments. What I do is nowhere near simple. Shit is slow. Ready to blow like a cold steel diligence. Simple. Over and up. Back to the road. Around. Stacking the north.
Yeah. So Nikki Biz, this was one of my favorite Nikki Biz verses. Although my issue with the about 80%, 75% of the verse was rapped out of pocket. It wasn't on beat. There were periods, my favorite parts of the verse were in pocket, actually in dope pockets. It's like kind of like when he would do the flow switches, those flow switches would wind up in pockets and on beat, but everything leading up and around those flow switches were not. And there was some not lines in there. I like the butterfly blade line. I like the outfielder, like you couldn't catch it if you had outfielder training. And there's definitely a lot of things in there that were said that I enjoyed. And I liked those flow pattern switches. And towards the end of the verse, there was like some full line rhyming, or like at least some dope multi-syllabic rhyming in there, with some dope references. I just would have liked to have this verse delivered a little bit more strongly vocal pocket all the way through. You there, F?
Yeah, my bad. I was muted. I agree with you. Within pocket, I felt like the verse was dope. I like the things that he says. One question. This is just one thing that was just on my mind when I was watching him rap. Yo, Fam reminds me of a like first album Pimp C, and I just wonder if he ever like gets that. Like just in terms of how he looks, he just kind of looked like Pimp C. Huh?
No, he definitely does.
You see it? Okay, I'm not tripping. Okay, cool.
All right. Any other add-ons?
No, sorry. To be honest, y'all, I'm writing this final. Guys, sorry, Rap. I'm still trying to finish up work today. Is a really long day, and so I'm just about finished.
You good? All right. Well, I think Ease is also here now. Shout out to Ease. To answer Mr. Williams, cuffing the mic is when you have your hand over top of the mic. So you should be holding the handle of the microphone, not the speaker part of the microphone. If you're going to do that, that takes some mastering.
Hold it like a comedian.
Yes, hold it like a comedian. That comedian will be rapping in his Cypher a little later on. Pay attention because he definitely was able to project.
Wasn't there another person who was a comedian that we had on the stage?
Mukazo, yeah.
And he held the microphone like that too.
Right. Always.
He held the microphone and he had super clear projection as well.
Yes.
Yo, what's up, Rapidly? Can y'all hear me? One time, can y'all hear me? Hip hop, start that beat. Before I start, I just want to say I miss y'all a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah, so smoking that kill, sitting around rum, fresh to death, tune talk, let them run. Way to pick up a window when you win the opponent. I might have to give them something potent so they know it when it's done. From the fields to the suits, you know the war is won. Ain't no need for a battle, even when you use your gun. It sound like so-and-so, king you won't be any fun. Your casket weigh more than the sun. Can carry this shit to you within the hole in the brain. Faster than you can come back with a comeback or the same. I'd rather write this in the first. first integrity, almost behave. The way my mom wrote these words just got your forehead when I shave. Lay on top of shit stones, I might have to pop a son. Hot stitch wrapped around my braided beard towards the sun, scorpion kid. The ground is called these two beats. Get praised and at the top, then range on centuries. I've been on this earth for centuries. I ain't coming back. This not life I gotta remember why I keep back the track. Shit tomorrow with the shadow work, but I give heart attacks. 64 pounds with 6-4 songs. I keep a move for God. Yeah, you make the shit with brick of water, set it in. So get it poppin', lock it. I won't stop it till it's settled in. Can't forget the question in. Contracting in my sin. Fuck the tone, it's dark and black. And rap my pain, man, call me. Move number 2. Back to the set. Back to the base. With the snake on his back. The transliteration of what my golden now. This is my cause, no exodus when it's coming. Now they ask me if I believe in Christ. I said, well, look at my crystals. It's 33 for the price of profit, right? Ain't never virgin, y'all. Ain't too dark. So here I am from the cave, fair for the night. The molly shot you nothing if you ain't here, right? Just leaving at the altar. The worst with the righteous. Might as well put up with the minus. Minus? Like, hey, you put the table to shoot with 2 minus. All right. It's like a little life ain't for the weak. Literally just don't compete with this virtual versatility. Words from the beast. At least I keep my soul where I sleep. No need for me to cheat my steps so ordained. These extraordinary feats up. Moving stuff with the sight. I'm a G to the core. No masonry. Only through passion in my square for sure. Because the ways from the trash, my footprints for the mark like the home in the shore.
Solid verse. I felt like he kind of was smothering his work a lot of the way through there.
I felt like that more happened so towards the end of the verse, or like the second half, or like the last third of it. I felt like the beginning of it, it was paced dope in a dope way, like a bar for bar sort of way, and then later in the verse, some of the patterns or whatever started carrying over bars, and the rhymes started landing in different places, you know.
That weren't as clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also caused them to start to run out of breath.
Yeah.
As well.
But like that beginning part though, like if he goes back and listens to that beginning part, like he was nailing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know, it was a dope pocket. I was able to bob my head to it. But like I said, as it went on, it became harder to follow and listen towards the end of the verse.
I agree, and I think it's one of those situations though too where it has that dope. You could do like this with it, but not necessarily where it's gonna give you a breakout performance. And maybe that just might be that the lines were not that potent. But I tend to think it's more that you can't hear the potency of the lines because of the way that it has this continuous repetition of flow.
Yeah.
Right. It's like they're just kind of like flowing over top of one another. No room to digest or react. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of, I think, when I was saying smothered work, not in the sense of like, oh, it sounds bad early on, but even early on when I thought that it was in pocket, it still wasn't wrapped in a way that I felt would elicit not only for it to elicit reaction, but for it to be for the content to be able to be digested. You know what I mean? So I've also thought he had more creative lines before. I did. There's definitely lines in there that I enjoyed. But I've heard better verses from Pharaoh. That I guess all that to sum that up in saying that.
Yeah. Now, hold on, wait, pause. Yeah. You get it? Yeah. Hold on. nigga, I'm sick. Give me my prescription. I do so many drugs, I should be on intervention. Yeah, I'm the sickest. Well, bitch, I'm getting sick again. Excuse my condition. Give me head like condition. Break the nigga off, let the doctor go and fix him up. Serve on my blank. I bet Booby go and twist him up. Bullets leave him stuck. These niggas make the statue. She talking like he's tough, but the niggas know he fragile. Pistol on my side. It's like a little shadow. We walk up in this bitch deeper than a little rabbit. You never sold shit, you just lie on the record. Drop that dope in the water, show you how to compress it. If you looking for the H, well, I'm the one, homie. I'm so wrong, all I need is a one, homie. Hurry up inside, she got drink around the corner. And if I make it in time, she gon' let me get this home. My styrofoam money, see, fuck it up with. I gotta slow it down cause your baby mama lucky. So you can get the fuck, bitch. All I wear is truck fit. I pop a combo, pour it up, and my blood lit. Wow.
Shout out to Splash Bandicoot. I thought that verse, I thought it was a cool verse. It was short.
Yeah.
It definitely could have used more of your time. I like the deep coming this bitch deep. It's a little rascal. That was my favorite line in that verse. Other than that, I would definitely say I like the attitude. I like the style. We just need some more of those types of clever lines, more wit, more up the metaphors or even if it's not metaphors, give us some lines. Give me some more give me more that I can feel. Like show me that if you're gonna do some like audacity shit or some storytelling shit, just go a little more abstract. Give me something more thoughtful. You know what I mean? Where I can tell that you're trying to make me as the listener either react or think a little bit deeper. That would be my main takeaways. Ease, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Fuck. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No.
No.
Not really.
Nah, son, I gotta be out. What about now? Can you hear me?
Yo, I don't know what I'm hearing, yo.
Yo, word. You sound like sound like you at the fucking beach or something.
Oh, hold on. I gotta probably switch my settings.
It sound like the ocean.
Yeah.
Hold on, P. Oh, chill out. Y'all keep
It sound like he in a car, yo. The window's down, yo.
Right,
His head out the window.
Chill.
Like Ace Ventura, yo.
What about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Now you loud like Whack 100.
Hold on.
Clubhouse.
All right, what about now? Is it
Now
better?
you good.
Okay. Yeah, now Son had a cool verse. It was just that. Nothing more. It was just a cool verse. We need spectacular mother effing verses at Rap Elite to get you into that sudden death, of course, if that's what you're trying to do. But if you're just trying to go out there and spit a cool 16, you know what I mean? Then that's what it's gonna be. A 7 on the board from your boy for all cool 16s.
Yeah, I can feel that. We're at I was like I think it's 7.
Nah, I was expecting I don't know if he had that planned. Like if that, I don't know if that's like, I just was expecting a little bit more given the circumstance that he was in that night, compete.
Yeah, but you got to think. I didn't expect that because the idea was not for the sound clash, because for those that weren't
Right.
he was in
But-
the sound clash with Kid Deceptive, and between him and Kid Deceptive, I've never been in a scenario where even with the loudness, with the sound,
Right.
what do you call that thing? Where it can the noise. I don't know what do you call it? Anyway, it basically
Sound clash.
no, it's a sound clash. I'm talking about the tool that analyzes the fucking how loud it is in the room.
The volume gauge.
Yeah, let's call it a gauge.
Sound gauge, volume gauge.
Yeah, but we have 2 of those, and we had the audience give reaction 3 or 4 times, and we could not figure out.
I don't know. Maybe it was where I was sitting, but each time it sounded to me like the cheer was louder for Kid Deceptive each time. But it might have just been where I was sitting. I might have been closer to his,
you were sitting over it. They were coming from 2 different sides of the room. The side of the room you were sitting on was where all his it was like literally 2 literal sides of the room were yelling back and forth at each other. It was crazy.
Like Montagues and Capulets.
Yeah, word. So what we ended up doing was saying, well, whoever scores higher in the cipher, that's who will have won. So he's like, well, why, I would have expected more from him, but he didn't know he was going to be in that circumstance. And I don't think he was even really looking to enter the cipher that month. That was just a requirement for this round of the sound clash. So the MCs that are in the sound clash from now until that championship bout against Blaine Coos have to compete in the cipher. So that's probably why you just got a 16 from him as opposed to like
true.
Like 4 on attempt. So shout out to him for getting through it, making sure it was there and done, because it was something that I think he prepped for later than probably everybody else. But shout out Cool Burst still, and I think he definitely could be someone that performs well in the cipher if he really applied himself.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he was just filling requirements for the sound clash.
Yeah, just checking the boxes.
All right. Next team up to the stage, Team Lil Rock. Bakari Kennedy and Bravo OB is not here. Bravo and Bakari Kennedy. Oh, Bakari Kennedy once again.
You got to stay on to yourself, man.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
Hold it down for Team Lil Rock, Bravo. It's just me.
Bring it home. Bring this class home.
All right. Short notice, but I'm going to let y'all know something about myself. Y'all ready? Well, damn. This time I thought the nigga was different. To realize I lived long enough to become a villain. I was becoming right was becoming secular. Trump bonded with music, dance with the soul of Michael, and think through the broken cycles. Turning the self-absorbed, product of injustice, brothers melted in war. Some of them become with the tributary horde. Right before death, the spirit warrior of the sword. Need a law of my genetics, that's my mental health though. Get the personality intertwined in the jail post. Felt like I was running and I discovered the air holes. The beauty's on the outside too, and while we went up close. In this order, what I have to admit to, pass, press, put something that can shit to, intrusive, thinking what I could be laughing with you, scope beam extension. I got attachment issues. All the surprise visit, connected with deception. See what my eyes fit the original man, descendant of a compromised image, prolific. Know it all, and even know it all, rebel through the protocol, strategist, never rushing the beat, I spoken all, flip hands and all, I never showed the fall, that's all. Got too many moments to manifest. He can press the pressure, living with intellect, a vision to get a check, was reminiscent of sex. The better the product is, the more I want to connect. Small earth, my son, trifle with human nature. Hurt my dog, I'ma go from wit to a Judas hater. Homes within the heart, depending on who's the neighbor. It's when your home's invaded and close to you, you save it. Major. Watch what you niggas put in the universe. Communion works, but only if you establish a union first. All these are symbols of triumph, conquered by you and her. That's something of what it feels like to live, die, be reborn, a man in real life. In order for enlightenment to happen, I was killed twice, not in the physical form, so I still fight.
Yo, let me say something real quick, yo. Let me say something. Yo, I knew this nigga since 1999. We've been rapping together. Before I ever met this nigga, like, niggas was telling me, they was like, yo, F, you gotta meet this nigga McMurder. Like, trying to tell you, like, this nigga is nasty. Like, he one of the only niggas I know that can rap with you. Like, that's how niggas used to give it up for him. And I met this nigga in 10th grade, and fam was crazy. You feel what I'm saying? He been crazy since back then, 1999. You feel what I'm saying? I was crazy then too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, fam was crazy then, and he's still nasty with it. Like, shout out to Broad, man, for real.
Yeah, man. For those that don't know, I also have a history with Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo, after that period of time, was not, not he was away. He had to take a long trip, like 10 years, 10-year trip, 10-year bid. Came back out, made a lot of noise as soon as he came back out. Got a lot of people, paying a lot of attention to him for what he do. You know what I'm saying? And that led to us eventually battling, which is Legends Never Die 1. Very legendary battle and very, very legendary event, which also led to us together eventually forming Southpaw Battle Coalition. So, with all of that said, him entering the Cypher, this is not his first time entering the open Cypher. Let's be clear. He has been in the open Cypher before. For those that don't know, he did win with this verse. He went to sudden death with this verse, rather, and against Wansky. He's been in the Cypher before, but I feel like he's attempted to come at those verses with more a conceptual approach. He's always he's a conceptual rapper. He likes doing that concept shit.
Yeah.
And in the past, he was doing concepts they were dope as hell, but they just didn't have he wasn't punching through them. He wasn't giving you the entertainment.
That's the thing about that nigga can punch.
Right. He's a
puncher.
Right. He's a puncher.
He started off as a puncher. I met him as a puncher.
Right.
Every other bar. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And so he wasn't really punching, wasn't really giving you that wow factor. It was like, oh wow, but you were more wowed by the entirety of the verse than you were by any particular moment or bar. This time he gave you bars, he gave you thoughts. There were a lot of things in there that were done. The rhyme schemes were crazy. I kept Trey Authentic's comment up here for a reason. Where he's like, this thing going crazy. Because these two MCs will be battling. And for those that understand Richmond battle rap, that is
crazy. That is fucking crazy, yo.
Trey Authentic versus Bravo.
Can we get somebody else to judge that joint, yo?
Is a crazy you're judging.
I do not want to judge that battle, yo.
That's gonna be a crazy battle at Station September 17th, and then both MCs will be right back the next week at Ember to be in the Cypher for episode 52. So shout out to Bravo. He did his motherfucking thing. So like I said, Bravo probably been in the Cypher 2 or 3 other times prior, never even made it to sudden death before. That always told me how crazy the competition levels were in the Rapper League Cypher. So if you ever had any question, this is where the best do it at. And he finally pulled out that victory. So shout out to Bravo.
You don't need nobody.
Yes, sir.
And let me say this too, right here. When you talk about judges and needing judges, yes, and some people are like, oh, you should have more judges, you should have different judges. I want y'all to remember, outside of the 3 judges ourselves, there's a whole nother room. There's a whole nother room full of judges. It's called the audience. And if you can audibly make them love you and show their love for the things that you're saying in real time, trust me, everything else
Says a lot.
Everything else will take care of itself.
All right, we await now. Next team to the stage. Team Illiterate, C Spicy, Stick the Scribe, Wansky, C Spicy, Stick the Scribe, and Wansky. Yo. Hold up. Go Stick the Scribe. See, Stick the Scribe. All right. C Spicy and Wansky. Night of the next shows.
Going the wrong way, I'm turning my heritage. Never people want that because I'm in the I be taking shots, but when I do, that's just scary. If I told the ratchet, I might not be serious. Running like the soul falls, pussy boys can carry this. On the stick that came to see, I'll snatch straight to character. My own worst enemy, rappers no comparison. Proud about that verse, I think proud to be American. You ain't do shit and show up to be American. Rapping about how you don't get bitches, that's just embarrassing. Dudes are fucking nasty, go and find a therapist. Pissed off, I stay green, I smell asparagus. No days off, it ain't the camera, not Paris. But I write the dopest verse without saying who's in Paris. Shout out rapper P for all the skills that I inherit. I like to turn a page into a clarity. Yo, flow, you can turn a page into a carrot. I don't even like it. I guess my age, but I'm so at your neck, I'm at your nape, I think I'm there. I ain't doing nothing wrong besides raising up his parents. I want to copy every move I make, you ain't a parent. Did you want to be a bird, you want to replicate a no-no. You listen to my presence like Ashley and Homo. On my feet, never jumping in the way slow. When I feel words, I'm on the chain, logo. I think Django, I just figured that's a no-go. But I'm around without a question for these bozos. I don't let you win until you contest with a promo. Here's my advice, where your mouth throwing photos. Pussy boy, we ain't feel the same, no homo. But don't laugh if you butthurt over rainbows. If the shoe fits the line, y'all wear the same clothes. In 30 seconds, like, I should be spending on these rainbows. If you got a blended home, drink it up and train them. I love when rappers take shots, not name them. That's a new way to use spice. Shit, thanks, bro. He's heating up all season. Y'all just watch the play roles. Adapted to the punches. Now you battling a mazo. Fucked up. That's the way the game goes. I'm powered up. I can treat a guy like Kratos. 100 people answer in the survey shows. All the waves you want to know. I see Spice make those.
I like Spicy's new style. It's a lot of I think he always gave you cool one-liners, but in the past it's been harder to hear what he's been saying. I feel like now there's a lot more clarity in what he's saying. The only thing I would say about it is, it kind of can get repetitious and redundant to an extent, but he's got some dope lines. 2 dope lines particularly. Like he's like, I can do all this without saying who's in Paris.
That's dope.
And the Django line, just being funny, playing off the race thing, just I liked it. I liked that verse. It was clean. I could tell he got fatigued toward the end though. Where I ain't gonna say there were stumbles, but it just wasn't coming off as the rhymes weren't coming off as clean.
Yeah, I'll say he what do I want to say? It was a dope verse. I'm sorry, I forgot the bit of feedback that I wanted to give.
It happens.
Yeah, I had something for him. That was a dope verse though. Dope lines. Oh, Yeah. That was the one thing I was gonna say. So, like, yes, over time, his delivery has gotten cleaner and cleaner, and that was a clean verse, as you said. The one thing I would say is just this, like, kind of like switch the cadence up a little bit here and there where you can, and I think that might come with possibly rhyming more words. Like, a lot of his rhymes come at the end of the bar, and
Yeah, like
you
the
know, a
last.
lot of the times cadence. Sorry, a lot of the times cadence switches up, like, based off of like the syllables that you're rhyming. That will cause your cadence to switch up something a bit. So, like, if you're you know, changing up where you're landing your rhymes, like within a bar, if you're landing 2 or 3 rhymes within a bar, you know what I mean, it'll split it'll break your delivery up some as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's like he's rhyming mostly just those last 2 syllables. So
Yeah,
they same old cranos, anos, flamos. You know what I'm saying?
and
Like,
it's like when you're getting there to it, he's landing on the downbeats, and so
right.
that's giving it that where it can get redundant. Dun, 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 you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, definitely work on that. I think that would be kind of crazy to hear from C Spicy, would be like more syllabic rhyming. That would
Mhm.
I think that would definitely enhance his style.
And then
I
also
Go ahead.
when people are rhyming like that, you generally kind of uh, you'll adjust to say, like, it a lot of the times it allows people to pull words out of their bars so that they can focus on those that phrase that they're rhyming, as opposed to just those last words, those last 4, 5, 6 syllables. Like, you have to, like, give yourself space to even piece those up. So it kind of like cleans your wrap up for you. As you're doing that, you're kind of like cleaning and trimming off the extra fat.
100%.
Go ahead, get that. Hello, y'all. I just want to make an announcement. I got a battle, my first battle on September 17th. Shout out Southpaw, man. Y'all come out. So I'm going to practice tonight on one of these niggas that like to keep my name in his mouth for some reason. You heard me? So, yeah. Take it like this. Yo. Look. Yo, I said I'm tired of these niggas having my balls in their mouth like a dodgeball rep. I'm here to call niggas out. I hate niggas like a slave kid born in the South, like an old school auction. Let's see what all finished out. Hey, I had a battle, but my opponent had to step back though. So all the more had to go to waste like a fat roll. And I remember niggas was coming at me at the last show. So now I'm in attack mode, like 4th down and at mode. This one thing about this beach niggas, going reach niggas, violent shit filled with hollow tips like a cheap dinner. Meaning you ain't wild, you speak, nigga. Other make you feel dumb. Will Young ain't the only one that teach niggas. I give a fuck if you the local bitch. I'm staying in like a GoPro stick. To my niggas, you smell like pussy. That slow roast bitch. If he stomping you to the ground like a pogo stick. And yo, my mind is down.
Cadence.
Like Zambi serving pressure. I'm the plug like a surge protector. I'm wearing reflections with verses, make better music. You ain't seen a better dreadhead punches since Lenny Fluid. I'm just getting me on TV like it's road rules. Now your broad have a dragon ball like she's Goku. Your first week, hardly headlines like an old dude. Now I'm never seen that's my go-to. Good with the draw, even though that's my go-to. I'll put a band on bitch head. Bitch, that's old school. Niggas always crying, they be capping like a go-to. I remember when my bedroom closet was my whole roof. Nowadays, studio, at the time I don't use it. Life is life until I get the right. I got no views. You ain't used to being where it's lit. You an old fuse. I ride past, arms out the window. That's a toll booth. Sandstorm, Desert Glow. South Party left too slow. Stood still and heavy. That was headed where his legs should go. You just said the you oregano on top, making me look bad like Plexico. They hating me because in the course of them with all of them, I'm slaughtering anything with an XLR coordinates. I should get a ring out of the audience. You made the punches room shaking like the Parkinson's. Keep the flow close to the soul, like a moccasin. The thing you said, bitch, I'm out of there for problem. So I suggest you niggas chill, man.
Yo,
When the streets coming for Vinny's helmet like a Bills game, bitch.
Nigga went off, yo. Hey, look, see Spicy. Everything that I was just talking about is exactly what he just did. Pump, that's a no. Pump, that's a code. You know what I'm saying? Like piecing up those rhyme syllables and dropping more of them in one bar. Like he rhymed within the bar. He's also doing internal, external rhyming where it's like, you know, like that causes you to switch the flow up when you play with the structure like that and you play within them boundaries. Fire ass verse, though.
Crazy verse. I gotta look at these scores. Because did they score exactly the same? Okay, because I gave them both 10s. Y'all both gave them both 9.5s. I ain't gonna hold you, bruh. That Wonsky verse. If I had to pick between the Wonsky verse, like if I could see, I gave both 10s. I would have scored them both 10s. But if I had to pick between the two, this is why this is all about. I mean, it's all mathematics.
The numbers, yo, it's the math.
Also gave C Spicy a 9.5. So I mean, what are we saying?
What did you say? Yeah.
Y'all also scored C Spicy pretty highly.
You're right. I would have actually. I would say that was a generous score. It's a good call out.
But you gotta think though, it's that order too. Like, imagine this verse would have come from like y'all gotta remember too, yo. Somebody dropping a crazy verse can like that affects things. It sets their bars get set, levels get set. As people like hit certain marks throughout the night, like that affects things, you know. So
I was very impressed in the moment with C Spicy's verse. I'm not gonna, you know, I would still say maybe a little generous, but I probably wouldn't have went too much. Yeah, I think with the way that he ended it, I probably would have dropped it down to maybe like an 8, 8.5, probably an 8.5. But I was impressed with that verse. But I'd have gone 8.5 on C Spicy. So I'd say that was generous. But yeah, definitely a 10 on Wonsky. To me, honestly, outside of any controversy, even though he was dissing Vintage, I felt like bar for bar wise, that was one of my favorite Wonsky verses.
I'll have to consider that. I gotta go back through his verses though, because
when we get the full audio on that, I feel like that's gonna be when we get the full audio version of that verse. I feel like that's gonna be a consensus.
Yo, I honestly feel like that would have hit. It would have hit harder in Tang and Biscuit sound system. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But my man,
clear right there.
Huh?
He sounded clear right there, though.
Yeah, he sounded clear to me.
My man, from this spot that was running the sound though, he did drop some nice gems on camera. I don't know if it should be on the episode when the episode for the YouTube episode for this past joint drops, but he was just dropping gems about how dudes should hold the microphone and you know, different performance styles and stuff like that, basically saying that, you know, he'll give you a boost level wise if you feel it's needed, but he ain't going like help you out type shit. If you know, if the crowd can't really hear you, if you holding the mic wrong, he's not going to boost you up so the crowd can hear you. But he was just trying to drop general gems to the rappers about that type of stuff and whatnot. But I feel like lately I gotta get back into the mode of giving that 10 out, because I feel like lately my 9.5s have been my 10 lately. So I gotta get personally back into the mode of giving them 10s out.
If it's above, if it hits the marks, it hits the marks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just feel like that verse, and I feel like Bravo's verse definitely. I don't know that what else will we be asking for from them too too much beyond that point. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can feel you on
for me, be yelling on at the low volume recap video says a lot to me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You know what I was thinking about when you said the thing about this possibly being one of your favorite Wansky verses. I wonder how many of the it's like I think he should do it specifically, but I want other MCs should do it as well. Like string together y'all's verses like in a long video. You know what I'm saying? Like of just throughout the whole season. It's like your highlight reel. Just like string your verses together, one long video. Like I would love to see all the Trey Authentics verses. You know what I'm saying? Like from like the sound clashes to the, you know what I'm saying? I mean the 5-on-5 verses mixed with the whatever, all in one. You know what I mean? Like
Radio just got kicked out. Well,
yo, how you get kicked out of your own joint, fam?
right.
It's like getting fired on your day. Come on.
Is the stream? Hold on, let me see. Is the stream still up on the YouTube? Yeah, we still on the YouTube.
What's up, YouTube?
But yeah, I would. There's a couple.
Y'all like this angle of my face? Y'all like my face with this angle?
Nah,
what you saying?
There's a couple of MCs that I would love to see do that. Like like Wansky, Trey Authentic, Real Life,
On Red, Real Life, Basic, Will Young,
Islam, Rap God. I need his.
I mean, there's a lot of MCs. I think that would be dope. Like, I think y'all should.
Yeah,
I would. If I had all those verses on the stage every single month, and I was bodying shit like that, yeah, I'd put that shit together.
Vintage could
like it's my fucking highlight reel. Man.
Vintage can make a whole album off his shit.
Vintage facts. Madam V, she put her verses together and dropped them joints on iTunes.
Yeah, and it sounded good too.
Yeah, it's dope. Like I said, that's the beauty of this thing. Like y'all have this content. You do it. You know what I'm saying? Work it. Do what you will with it. You know what I'm saying? Strip the audio and shoot a video to it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows? You can do whatever with it.
Facts.
My job is to sit here and come up with ideas. I could think of ideas for that shit all day. I should do that though.
Yeah, I'm surprised Madam V was the only one who did do that. Mixtape concept. Taking all the verses from the whole season and just compiling them together and just putting it out there.
Sorry, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but
it's all good, man. We're just tossing ideas around. What I was trying to say before you, but I was saying, like I would like to see some of the MCs create like a string out, like a highlight reel of their verses. Like, like Wansky got all these fire ass verses, 9s, 0.5s, 10s, and you know what I'm saying, across the board. Like string them joints together throughout the whole season. You know what I'm saying? Make your highlight reel. We're just throwing names around. There's a lot of MCs that could do that. Vintage, Tone Red, you know what I'm saying? Will Young, Trey Authentic. There's a lot of niggas that could put together a nice highlight reel.
Thanks.
Well, at least a couple of those names can currently. Others could do old videos for sure.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm saying they got the content.
Yeah,
like
use your content for sure. One thing I say, at least
talking about the Madam V example where she put the mixtape out.
Facts.
Like, you could do y'all can work that. That's y'all's to work. That's y'all's work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like utilize it. Strip the audio from the joint and string together the audio. Put that joint out as, you know what I'm saying, as like a dusty mixtape type joint. You know what I mean? Or stripped audio from the performances. Like
or toss Mike some bread. Tell him, look.
Yeah, polish that joint up.
Mm-hmm. With Madam V, she actually put hers out on streaming, but she contacted each producer from each episode, including Havoc from Mob D.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember that.
To actually release those verses on all platforms. So shout out to Madam V for that creativity and for the effort and and doing good business with reaching out and getting permission from all the producers. All right. So that put Wonsky and Bravo in sudden death.
Keith's Speech is another one. I would like to see Keith's Speeches versus all shown together too.
For sure.
Yeah,
Next team up to the stage, Team and the Simple. Decho, Trey St. Pomeroy.
Yo, it was dope to see Decho again.
Yeah, Decho is definitely a throw. We had a handful of throwback MCs.
Look, that ain't the first time he went to the Spanish rap though, yo.
Right.
Like, dog, you be making it hard for a nigga for real. Pause, but like, yo, it's hard for me to work with that. Pause again. The judge before that.
Yo, camino mi destino, destino de casino. She like a little vecino, she compose on my divino. Right in the sipping vino, these are my tenant please, so I travel hard to Eagle. Eagle sequel. Felony false when I authorize the author, prepare myself for slaughter, the kamikaze for offer. A motor rock rolling, leaving you muddy waters. There's a whole roster here. I ain't hearing the starters, I'm a whole roster, blazing these imposters. Smoke screens go high above like helicopters. I'm trying pictures, they watching cutting my crops, and I ain't talking about the stick. When I say I got a temper, throwing stones at the cripple. We make the bricks and need to stick to the strips and know that death is inevitable. Sharpen kind of skills and nothing short from medical. I take on my tennis suit, these substances presentable. Presentable. Oh shit. Presentable.
He has a good delivery, yo.
Tennis shoes. Hold on, man. Yeah. Check. Yo. I'm about to flip real quick, hold on. Yeah. Yo. Mi dimensiones crece con mi acción y yo canto los blues. Sin protección de condones lo dejo todo en el micrófono. En la cabina yo siempre estoy home alone. Peleando ser un peón del NG como Oscar Clayton. Llegar a mi meta aquí que me ponga pelón. El callejón se pone cabrón. Con el rapeo soy Sylvester Stallone. Ni un santo sagrado espanto para el mal que vive entre humanos. Matazones es el nombre de Dios. Familia llora, ahora dicen adiós. Estamos enfermos de la naturaleza, busco remedio en el lago, veo mi reflejo, como si fuera un espejo, un estudiante de mi ambiente. Mis mayores me dijeron que como latinos tenemos espíritu rebelde, nunca tengas miedo de hablar lo que tú sientes, fíjate y la cago tu voz, define cómo trabaja tu misma mente, pensando cómo puedo impactar en mi futuro, hallando tu propósito, siempre es lo duro, meter semillas en el cerebro, hablarlos es ponerlos en fuego.
I wish I knew what he was saying towards the end. Sounds dope. The way it started out and the way it's transitioned out of the first Spanish spell into the English rhyme, and he had some dope lines in there. I love the delivery. And two, he lost the rhyme, unfortunately. We have to say preparation is key. We've been saying it all night. We definitely want to see Decho back, man. He's dope.
I think he has a great delivery, a great flow, nice voice cadence, and all of that. And can rap genuinely, he can rap. He's want to get that clean verse through in English, like not to be that way, you know what I'm saying? But
well, he knows. He knows. That, you know what I mean? You want to be able to communicate clearly with the room, so you got that's just it comes with the territory. Shout out to
Back out here, a little bit stepping like back out in that trap house. Y'all niggas pussies checking some Paris feel, put it back on you. Kicking that bitch, don't let it have kids. Keep it mad, pimpin' my switch that switch. A yank that ass with this. Pistol with compassionate prints. My blood splat up on that carpet like he a lad in this bitch. Mask on my face like I'm arrogant. I'm not like chance in this trip. My marathon right through your crib. Just attacking your shit with my niggas. See, I've been on the road. Sometimes flat as a bitch. He back in the whip like chiropractic. See this life I'm trying to match with the shit.
from the grass roots who watch this bloom up from the cracks and get massive events. Black owned businesses and past, and we bring travel with this. I check with my past, have my mind flashbacks fast and intent. Dramatic and drenched in vivid saturation. I sat with a pen, so long that bitch became attached to my skin. Hand broken through the arthritis and chicken scratching the script right backwards. It's still the shit I keep with shaft you niggas. After you blast jaw, hand no fist. Hand up these fools with proof part. You never say that you niggas going hand in this bitch. I know stone cold killers, bullets might slam in your brick when they pull up. My baby's too quick. Some of these niggas is too parents, they getting put up. You don't need them because they ain't nothing but shit. Make me pissed. Don't make me pay you a visit with this blicky. This heavy metal don't need no training to assist. They silly, but they saying it's sus. They really want to come with me, but really these niggas ain't trained enough. Think it's sweet, they basically spot on the beat. The bars I try to see waking from up. These bitches basically suck. I'm going lever. If I prime my 8 niggas up like my face or a lunch, they need punch belly. It's still the shit I kick like a punt. Who's gonna carry me? The therapy is not fair of the pump. I'm scaring them. You had the air shit, I can stand here and slug. It's a rarity. She give me clarity when I stare at my son. Much married and my daughter had cherish. We share every love. And a stellar from heaven above. You know what else but her hugs? Check it. I'm stepping in here for the set with these friends. The stage to fit my pedals for once. This gonna be second. Nigga, who wanted this fun? It's a deadly weapon from the neck up. Niggas' heads have been hunting. Pepper bullets, punches through vest. That nigga blade on the blood out his chest. These sharp shooters gonna sharp through him. That blood shed we gon' mess. These shit gonna wrap when you shut it. They gonna keep you his neck. These hunters, cause born be sharing their stress. Trying to stack that shit, bag that shit, make it double. Can't stand for rest. But the crutches, y'all be coming. Sluggish and churches. Might as well be in slumber or undercovers. I come to make them uncomfortable. Yeah.
Another dope verse from Trey St. Fauntleroy. I love the rhyme scheme, love the flow, love the patterns. Not crazy about the content this time, as far as like I feel like that's his style is most effective when that rhyme style is matched with that high level poetry. So like I feel like the metaphors and the poetic imagery that he's displayed in the past has been way higher than what we got this time. I feel like this was like more like kind of straight talk, really. Like, you know, not too much metaphors, not too much punching, not too much imagery, just kind of straight talk, but delivered with the same staggered rhyme patterns, multisyllabics, staggered flow. It's a very signature style that he has. But this time I felt like the actual lyricism was put in the back seat, so to speak.
Interesting. I didn't feel that way. I have to
Me
go
neither.
back and listen to it again from listen a little deeper. I thought the verse was dope. Really, I was thinking I wanna hear his music. Does anybody have a link to his music? I wonder what his music sounds like.
I thought it was dope too.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. And
I actually scored him higher than both of you. But
yeah, I'm dog. I'm not even disagreeing with what you said. I felt like it was I felt like it was good, but in comparison, I can see what you mean when you comparison some of those earlier verses. Like there was a real wow factor with the things that he was saying for sure. Like I remember audibly like reacting to like line after line after line after line.
Yeah, that was when he got the 30.
Yeah, like it was just like, yo, this nigga is not stopping, yo. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
what I want to do, the reason why I'm being vocal about this particularly is because one of the things I said in the chat with the MCs last night is that I feel like the MCs that appear at the higher range, or that we expect to rap at a certain level, or that score high even, right, don't get constructive criticism enough. on the recaps to where it can give them the understanding of what they could actually be doing better, or why they could actually crack from being top 3 to top 1, to number 1. You know what I mean? Why they didn't win that particular episode, or why, you know what I mean? And then you start seeing a digression in those top MCs, because there's no longer, you know what I mean? There's no brass ring to reach for, because we're not really giving them anything. It's like, okay, well, we like that verse too, you know what I mean? Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing, type of thing, with the top level MCs, but the lower level MCs or lower scoring MCs get all of the constructive criticism.
No, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Still sharp and still. And like, where would I be if I didn't have a critique from you or Mike or Ease or something like that, you know? So definitely 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, he's gotten, it's like one of those things where you've gotten 30s before. It's like, let's tell you why you didn't get a 30 this time, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
makes sense.
So that you can get a 30 the next time, because you're capable. So, but yeah, shout out to Trey St. Fauntleroy. It was still one of the highest scoring versus. I scored it a 9.5. Both of y'all scored it a 9. It was ranked 6. So
I still want to know if he has any links to music out there.
Yes, he's been dropping some singles. He's got a couple projects that are on the way. He's been utilizing. He's been across the street quite a bit recording.
Dope.
Got collaborations with Kid Deceptive, and I think Madam V got some stuff with him and Chop Suey and stuff coming soon. So
I'm gonna have to tap in.
Yeah, him and Chop Suey. That would be fire. I gotta hear that.
Yeah.
Yo. Yo, Rapidly, what up? Okay. Tell you why I get.
The logo.
Helping my brother OT in the back with his wife. Now let's play some shit. Hey, yo. Give me an hour plus a pen in the pad. Yo. Keep standing next to me as if you're standing high. Don't be less than like you were standing by. When they come to beef, I let the cannons fly. Boy, get up respect like a cannon shot. Rip the niggas ran a block. First round trap pick, but I ain't from for games. You may have some fireworks, but I got all the flames. I be up for the rack when you get with a hard flame. They just press the bitch out, be deaf the way they say my name. Cause I'm from the major ways. You the fellas, she poking like Dana. Better check the pockets. These thieves are taking all the changes. Dunks from the foul line, bitch. We don't pull a thing. Hold the place, up a penny and fall on your face. It's all about the catch and the chase. Don't get that boy your waist, a little haste in your face. Still beating, it's like Morpheus said. You think that game you breathing? Catching bullets when it's deep, nigga. Please, I broke slow for all of these souls that want to eat. So niggas, if they want to get better than trap me, better go with your best to get that with an IV. I see you, boy, the stuff. So I'm leaving with the IV and an ER, son, like Bubba Chuck. If it's up, if it's up, both not running the luck. If it start lightning, you'll be the first one to get struck. Benny, Caterpillar, not closer. Never through the smoke like Montana the Sosa. Y'all don't feel it in your bones, these bandanas and culture. The nicest nigga out from New York to Nova Scotia. They try to knock you off the focus. But it's impossible when you coming from dopeness. I was sitting with hoaxes. Stunning when pressures come out the roaches. They fall down. We was just writing music while smoking. And this was just the other day. Put me up against any rapper. Better 100K. I speed on dollars. That motherfucker underlay. They brought a front and start to put up the leg. That's what over your head. But you can run along your play. Turkeys with thoughts so good you can use a play. Bitch, that's for pay. From the window, this funk sway. The Subius and Pompeii. Driving down my block is the wrong way. Cause you gon' hear that I shot you like the song said. You don't want your mama to have a long day while I'm at dinner, bitches showing pussy like strong J. Turn the bitch to an entree. Vinny Villanova. Like fat bags and hot cups of soda. The bitch and the women's back to Jehovah.
Like fat backs and hot cups of soda. Listen, what I say about Benny is there was a certain point in which, in this he got a 28. I scored it a 10, but I think what may have gotten him past the 9s with y'all would have been starting stronger. I feel like he took a little bit of time to get warmed up. Early part of that verse was kind of just filler rhymes, you know what I'm saying? But then there's a point where it like completely leveled up and it didn't go back down from there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was probably the only thing. It didn't start off as strong as the middle to the end.
It was a crescendo. You know what? Like as a rapper, like that's that editing. You know what I mean? Like that's that editing. Like when you get your joint down, like and you're practicing, you got it good. Like that's when you just like get objective about it. And you're just like, oh, you know what? I can cut that, or I can adjust this line, or
I can go back to this
editing.
To the intro and really put something there too. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens a lot of times is you start heating up, literally getting better as you're writing.
Yes, it always happens that way.
Because you're warming up. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh wow. After you wrote a couple dope lines, then you get in a feel and you like
all the time. I'll cut like the first 8 bars, yo. I'll start writing and then like I'll just like cut like the beginning because I get into a bag, you know what I mean? And it's like, nah, this is a fire part, and I'll build from this and just try and make more top this fire shit.
Right.
You know like you cut the shit and you just try and keep topping what you wrote.
Exactly. And I was saying that too in the chat last night. Yo, you gotta go back and edit. You got to lift all of your whole verse up to the highest level that you feel like your verse has got. You know what I'm saying? And because if you start your verse figuring out how to change the air in the room when you first start your verse, that is where you want. You know what I'm saying? You want to change the air in the room when you first start rapping. Like
because you don't know what the person before you is going to do.
Right. Or exactly. You don't know what the person, right? So if they did crazy kill the room, right? You need to be able to pull that attention back to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Once it gets to your turn, you need to be able to like suck the air back out of the room. Like, all right.
It's like a battler with a rebuttal.
Yeah, that was cool, but now it's my turn. You know what I'm saying? But they need to know that as soon as you, not from your intro walking on the stage, yeah, I'm about to kill it, or like, no. When you open your mouth to rap, that first line, think about what that first line is saying about what you're about to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we talk about when we think about 10 verses across the board, or 30 verses across the board. The opening and the closing need to be both strong, and everything in between. You know what I'm saying? So definitely think about that, y'all. Benny know how to close a motherfucking verse with some performance though.
All the time, yo.
Yo, he be stealing some. He
still got like
that shit.
He got that like that move, yo.
He slammed the mic down on the table.
Yeah, yo. He's a showman, yo.
He is a showman.
All right. It's crazy. It's crazy. We got 2 more teams. Team Cheats to the stage. Uncle Ben.
Yo, Team Cheats sound crazy. Think about it, yo. It's like that Team Cheats. Like, what you think about?
Team Cheats.
Team Cheats. Team Cheats.
King Deceptive and Trey Authentic.
Shout out to Trey Authentic and Kid Deceptive in the chat.
Shout out.
This is crazy that I'm doing this shit.
Shout out to Uncle Ben.
This is what a 47-year-old looks like during hip-hop. Look. So I gotta give OG back. I can't get a bit talking today. Let me get OG. Let's go back to it. Y'all don't watch this shit too. Check it. You looking at me and just waiting for something funny, but if hip-hop was my choice, I would still be worth your money. The trail that was made this kid here, we ain't no dummy, so when the work go on, my time, you better be coming, better be coming. Like, I'm about to sit in the top, yo, bam, bam, it's serious. He was some experience. I'm really feeling it. When the time is with a rap gang, yo, he's really interesting. I see him do, oh, I'm like, damn, dude, he's killing it. So from this point, I just don't want to be from the escalade. I'm so like this to see what I'm loved and on parade. The style is really crazy. The dude shit I hate. It's inevitable when I die, I'll be known as one of the greatest. So, the time I fail, yo, it is up to you. See, it's God on the show, so it doesn't matter what you do. Plan to mind is mine, so yeah, I really highly doubt it. Need who last is the one that lasts a lot. Like that was a certification, not what we got that out the way. I'm gonna use the rest of my time to say what I really came to say. Use your platform to serve, like just put yourself to your feelings, always your pleasure, they can continue to help. This information in our communication destroying our community and hurting our unity. For example, it's real. And no, it's not a joke. When a fact is not a fact, man, don't go out and vote. Yo, you think you're smart. If we get checked, if you don't vote, they put it in the noose around your neck. Like no one takes your neck. I think all do. But it doesn't. So in the end, the bag chasing you. Now some of you might think it's hard. Like people that don't attack. You don't know how to do it. Well, I'm glad they asked you. The 401k. All right, so you have money to play up your game and rainy day. When you don't get your money and the citizens will win it to get your bank and tell them, Uncle Bam sent you. Let's go.
Shout out to Uncle Bam, son.
Mm-hmm.
Flow changes, substance, he's talking about some things. Obviously, the rhymes could be more complex. We could get some more clever punches and some metaphors and things like that.
More syllables.
Yeah, more syllables. But what I would definitely say is this was a very short notice for Bam. This was 1 week. This is 1 week. This is
impressive.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely a 1 week situation. He signed up. Actually, he signed up the Tuesday before the Cypher. So this is a 5-day move for Bam. You know what I mean? So I can't ask for too much. You know what I'm saying? From a guy that is not a rapper. You know what I'm saying? This is a comedian on 5-day notice. He came and did his thing. So shout out to Uncle Bam. Brought a lot of different eyes to the platform as well. Showed a lot of love. He said he's gonna be back. I think he's season finale. He's looking to be back. So we look forward to having him there.
So crazy. Hey, so look, before I start this thing, I just want to speak on something real quick because I had a close friend back in high school that passed away about 3 weeks ago. She was driving on I-85 and then she got shot in the head by a passing car. And I dedicated this Rap Elite verse to her because this shit's like home to me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say before I started that shit, man. This one's for her. We love you, Smile. Yeah. Yeah. Ever since I started rapping, I knew I'd be the best. Paying tribute to the Father, cause I'm knowing that I'm blessed. So if you wonder why I keep a cross across my chest, cause I'm thankful for the Lord and how I'm one that He protects. But when Tobiah passed, I had looked at him and asked, why couldn't it be me, or the one who let it blast? Although we got distant, I remember her laugh, and the love she had shown when I was rapping in the past. So I asked, Cause I know I'm far from perfect, but she was there close, and I know she ain't deserving. So why is she in heaven and I'm living in the current? Not to mention all the evil in this world full of serpents, but I really must digress. Although I can't digest, I had to write this verse for everyone that she had met. I'm praying for your mother and your family upset. God may have been an angel, but we miss you in the flesh. Rest in peace. I tell you, I ain't done. I'm gonna stay on the rest of this for real. Look. They threw me in the depths, now I'm swimming with some damn piranhas. Swung never turn a monster, said they asked to be the father. $4? No, what's up to my mama fed up enchiladas, living proper, feet propped up in the bottom. Drinking vodka at the slots while I'm chilling with the lots who drop tops. On the host to be my maid of honor. Right now they call me Poppy, but if they try to block me from that guava, I'm sitting ass up in the pasta. I can care less, YOLO's for the motto. I'm trying to be like me, popping bottles with a million models, full bottle, waist cut, crashing through the crazy state to show them that I'm here. And they still serve the dinner plate like this a fucking piece. Last supper for you motherfuckers should've checked me in the cover. Now I'm about to make you suffer, never been a sucker. Not a damn thing sweet, but we raps from the other runners. Who bitch I get a slugger? While she call my shots, always swinging for the fence. Other artists try to pick it, but that doesn't make no sense. See, I'm doing what I should, and this game ain't no sense. But they play that shit wrong, now they slide it to the bench. That's some shit.
What's up?
All right.
So
Shout out and rest in peace. That was a dope tribute. I definitely appreciated that.
I would say when it was dope. I would say when piecing those two verses together.
Yep, the transition.
Yeah, think about that transition, whether it's a call and response or write it. You know what I'm saying? Like write that transition in there. But yeah, that's my one bit of feedback. For that.
Yeah, I definitely think that not because he had made me aware that he was gonna have a moment like that. What I would just say is you if you're gonna do that, definitely make sure that you write it to transition in. When you break them apart like that, it kind of causes a bit of a friction in your performance. And it also kind of like makes the two compare to one another. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really, that's not really what you want. It's like, because they're like two opposite energies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be my only thing as far as not much to grade on the first half because it's a great tribute. I loved every bit of that. The second half, I would say cool rhyme patterns, but not a whole lot of substance there. I still would like to see, I know one thing, rhyme patterns was a suggestion before, and I feel like that's been worked on up in the syllables a bit. What I would like to see is some more focused punching from Kid Deceptive. I would like to see some strong punching. If Kid Deceptive with that incredible vocal projection and clarity and energy was punching in those, like really good punches, would actually have the room going crazy.
Yeah, I think that's really the only thing that kind of holds them back is those haymakers. Yeah, and especially if he's able to pivot from like the tribute sort of verse and then to a string of just kind of like crazy punches, that's like taking the room on a ride.
Right. But I know that we're not gonna get those again, and as far as like the tribute verses. So I would just say, going forward, that should be your new challenge. And that's another thing too I want to say with the MCs, right? When we give you the feedback, And even if this feedback isn't direct to you, if you keep feedback from someone else, or you see something that another MC does really well, challenge yourself to actually work on specifically those particular things, right? Like, challenge yourself to punch better 1 month. Then the next month, then see how that reacts for you. You know what I'm saying? Then the next month, work on wordplay in a very specific way, not just when people say, "Oh, call everything wordplay." I'm talking about actual wordplay where you are actually drawing correlations from word to word, like breaking apart words, and finding different ways to utilize these words to say different things. And like go or challenge yourself with the syllables. Okay, how many syllables can I rhyme per line for an extended period of time in this verse? Just take yourself down these different patterns, because that's how you become a well-rounded MC, by actually challenging yourself to do the specific things. Don't just think about like your overall verse every single time, like, oh, I'm gonna just write the best way I know how to write on the level that I know how to write every single month. Because a lot of times that's how you just end up plateauing out.
100%, y'all.
Like, everything that I learned how to do as an MC, I had to specifically do that one thing for a while until I mastered that one thing. And then I moved on to the next thing. And then once you have a proficiency in each of these different tasks or different skill sets or attributes, then you'll be able to use them at will every time you write a rap, no matter what the content is. That's how it works. It's like, okay, I'm gonna learn about entendres this time, and this is how I'm gonna write a bunch of entendres. They don't even gotta be a rap. It don't even gotta be a verse. You could just write lines. Just practice those particular things in lines. They said now you need lines that have people in the crowd like that was crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. When y'all say work on the punches right, are you wanting me to like work on creeping into shit more and tying together every bar to make the final line hit? No. You're fine. No. That's part of punching is your setups, but actually having strong, dope punchlines. That
punchline could be a single bar.
Right. That takes another level of cleverness. But here's the thing, and I've told you this. You have to study people that punch well.
Right.
You gotta go listen to when people, whether
Big
that's
L.
battle rap, or especially battle rap, is a really good place to learn about punching, because you get to actually see people react in real time, right? You get to see when a punch lands, how people react to it. So what was it that they reacted to? What was it that made that punchline crazy? Because it's a way of thinking. It's an abstract way of thinking. It's not in it. There's a lot of different things that go into what make a punchline good. It could be entertainment. It could be funny. It could be abstract. It could be, but it's something that generates a reaction from people when you say it. Right. It's something that makes people say, well, how the fuck did he think?
How did you arrive there?
How did you arrive at that thought?
Mm-hmm.
That is what a punchline is. So there's a lot of ways to get there, right? There's a lot of ways. A lot of different people punch different ways. Study all great punches. If you go to battle rap, study Av, study Blue Magic. Study B Magic. Study Rum Nitty. Jeez. Study.
Hey, look, Ski. I gotta say it. Look up Big K.
Oh yeah, study Big K.
Incredible puncher.
Man, like there's but in battle rap in general, you're gonna always get a lot of good punchlines. You know what I'm saying? Oh, study Jay Moore. Study Deontay Ells.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want something close to you. In Rap Elite, study Wansky.
Wansky is a puncher. Heavy punch.
I was gonna say, just go back and watch the top two.
Tone Red is a puncher.
The top two verses from this night, like
Will Young is a puncher.
Will Young is a great puncher. Tone Red is a great puncher. So you got Lil Wayne is a dope puncher.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne is a dope on record.
I'm about to say there's some musical examples as well.
For sure. So yeah, you gotta go study punchlines if you want to learn how to do it well. It's super important in a cipher. I'll be honest with you. That is the best way to stand out in a cipher. There's many different ways you can do it, but the best way to stand out in a cipher is to punch well. Period.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean,
look, early M had the craziest punches, yeah.
Right. Eminem is not known to be a punchline rapper, but early on in his
line for line.
Like if you go back and listen to Eminem rap on Sway and Tech freestyle.
Sway and Tech, yep.
If you go to Sway and Tech freestyles, Eminem, that's where you're gonna get
crazy
Eminem as a punchliner.
Yep.
Go study that.
There's a joint with him and Missy freestyle, crazy.
Kane is a great puncher. I mean, Nickelus F is a great puncher. I am a great puncher. He's not a puncher, but he can punch.
Ease can punch for sure.
It's that when he does it, Ease is real fly with how he puts his wordplay together. So
Ease be up here on the
he go to a different, you know what I mean? He like to put it all together, but he's not gonna, even when he's punching, he's not gonna deliver
and
it.
It's super slick too, yeah.
Right, make it sound like it's a punchline, but they be punchlines in there if you listening right. You know,
these punches be like liver shots, like. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the crazy overhand, be that liver shot that drop you. Like, you don't even see that shit coming. You know what I'm saying?
These be layered up crazy. Definitely layered up. All right, let's get through the rest of this. But please, y'all, listen. Go, please. I want y'all all to. There should be an episode in which all of you are punching. There should be times in which all of you are punching. I don't care what your style is. Everyone should be punching. This is a cipher. I've tried not to do this. I try not to push y'all to
tell people to punch. I know.
I really try. I've really avoided, right?
Because look, let me. When I was a lot younger, all I did was punch, yo. He was one of the main niggas that pushed me to stop punching. Nigga, I was punching every single bar.
Right? No. Let me tell you about the growth.
That's all I did was punch.
This is what we do, right? Okay. Before I met Nickelus F, right? Long before I met him, I was nothing but a puncher. I punched all the time. I battled all the time. I punched all the time. I battled all the time.
That's all I did.
Nigga in the street, I'm battling. And if you saw me rapping, I was punching. However, I was around a crew of people that didn't really rap like that. So they kind of started to shun that aspect of my rhyming. So I started to figure out other ways to be effective as an MC. And I started to pick up other more conversational styles of rapping and cloak my punching into that, but not the setup punch the way I used to. When I met Nick, he was still in like setup, punch, setup, punch, setup, punch.
All I wanted was reaction. Because I always just rapped outside. I only wanted people to react. Like if people were quiet during my verse, I felt like I was unsuccessful.
Trey Authentic is a great puncher when he punches.
Yeah, Trey Authentic is a great puncher.
Punching this season, he knows that.
Yeah, I always wanted to see people react to the things that I'm saying, so I always wrote that way to elicit a reaction.
That's how I started.
But I learned.
That's how I started. Though I wanted to rap because I saw people do that, and that's how I patterned my raps to be was because that's what made me want to rap, was seeing people rap in ciphers and say punchlines and get a reaction. That shit was fucking the dopest shit in the world to me. So
shit, that's how you was killing them on 106.
Yeah, y'all was high off of that. You get high off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a real release of endorphins. You know, like when you dog, you doing that in school. You know what I mean? Like at the lunchroom, like where we get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody gets in trouble, yo, because I spit a crazy ass verse.
Or at the
like,
barbershop.
That's lit. At the barbershop, yeah, that's lit.
Or in a cipher, you know, we did ciphers. It would happen anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we came up with. You know what I'm saying? So like, what happens is you learn that as you get into music more, you got to kind of rein that in and be able to kind of cloak it into other styles so that it doesn't just sound like you're just set up punch, that you can communicate real thoughts and ideas and feelings and emotions through your writing and your music. So what F was saying when he was like, I'm the one that convinced him to stop punching as much, I was actually the kind of people I was around were teaching me other ways to communicate through the music, through the writing. So I was extending that to him, like how to smooth that shit out. Like, yo, you can still do this, but you gotta kind of tuck it this way, and this is what make you more relatable. You know what I'm saying? So like I would extend those conversations to F, and that kind of got him to where he was able to be a more well-rounded MC as well, where it's like, oh, I can still punch when I want to, but you don't feel like I'm just beating you over the head with
punchlines and you know liking every single bar, saying like this, like that, like this, like that. There's a lot of ways to land a bar.
Across like a comedy sketch or like a stand-up comedy routine on beat. You know what I'm saying? At some point to some people, right?
Like
some people don't like that, right? So, it can come across as a lack of substance. You know what I'm saying? So, but in a cipher, it's the perfect setting for it. It's the perfect setting for it.
As I'm saying, you write different for these things.
You write different for these things. So definitely keep that in mind, y'all. I know I don't want to, punch a dead horse, but I wanted to kind of, take a little time to really like put some emphasis on that.
I don't know if y'all bitches in that, but y'all gonna listen to this. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking medically they hurt that soul, cause I done hit that chord. It's called pride and I'ma split that more. Been taking time hearing lies, so I'ma flip that source. Niggas dead, so I'ma get it when I rip that chord. Time to leave from the matrix, cause the reality they living is actually fake shit. Niggas couldn't rap without the cap and I'm tired of the basic. Niggas really actors, get no evidence, document statements. Really just some actors trying to get up a shot. Greatest intermittent disaster. When I hit the time is amazing. In the hospital, going to visit a doctor with patients. I ain't from this earth, I really drive from the top of a spaceship. Fellow thickness. Racing, catch a beat, nigga trying to decide to make it. Niggas really trapped with kicking buckets and rocking with blankets, doing open mics free. They go in their car when they make it, but the whole crew, that's the whole truth. I target on, and then it gets stuck like phone booth. Really, I'm a beast to a bitch, and I'm from the rich. When niggas hit that highway just a bit, and I never hope they try to take the shit I'm thinking me sick. I can't believe this shit. Some big sucking faggots, some gay shit that don't bitch imagine. I ain't take a picture, but I can picture you in the casket. One had a 2-minute first mission. I told the whole building I'm a criminal worst critic. That nigga just a bitch, and I was told not to hurt women. But now I'm not the G fucking fool. Feel the hearse with it. Feel like I'm earth in it. Nigga dirt, nigga shirt in it. Nigga the church with it. Stop and look like perf in it. Some perf bitches. It's crazy. And I ain't never like a fool. Cause we ain't even hit his ass first. Was walking out the room. Cause everything you spin is bad dirt. We lost him out the room. So be the quickest in the bag first. Talking on my shoe. Cause I've been scheming like railing in life. Don't get me pissed off and tell them the mic. And y'all hyping like fish off. The killers are right. Niggas should dip off. I couldn't get pissed off. And with the smoke, I get the baby like fifth off. These niggas be hating. Like fifth off. I see P3 and them niggas
you never slipping, all been more proud of it. That's the genius who shot you. Nigga.
Crazy.
Rhyme king, bro. The rhyme patterns are always
Crazy.
Always giving you the crazy rhyme schemes and patterns. When I say that, I mean the full line rhyme structure.
Structures are crazy.
Structuring of the rhyme.
He's an architect.
Definitely an architect. My only knock is that, you know, you're giving us jabs with the punches now. You're not giving us them haymakers you was giving us all season 5.
I can agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? And even when you're addressing things, you're just kind of like touching the surface and being like aggressive. Like
he's speed bagging.
Yeah, you're just cussing people out. But last year when you was addressing people, you was telling stories and punching and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're taking it light. You've been taking it light all season. I ain't gonna hold you. You ain't got a hoodie this season, and it ain't because you don't have the ability. You just ain't putting your foot on the pedal. Stop letting people. I think Trey is getting caught up in the back and forth conversations that are going on.
That's one thing I was gonna say. Like with Trey, anybody can get it, yo. This nigga will spray a shot. This nigga sprays shots all the time. But do not do that at your own detriment. You know what I'm saying? Or spread your objective thing. To focus on your objective thing. Your objective should be to win and wow the crowd.
That's it.
Not necessarily talk to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
just remember that, because like you have all the potential in the world, dog. Like
you could,
you know what I mean?
There's no reason why you couldn't double MVP. No reason.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You have the ability to do it, but
just keep your eye on your objective. Your objective is to win.
Always.
And for anybody, and if it is like a back and forth with anybody, like that's the best way to prove your argument. You know what I'm saying? With the W.
I used to have to tell Rel the same thing. I had to tell Rel the same thing earlier this season. Your objective is to win, not just to show up and be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget why we're here, guys. Let's not forget why we're here. You know what I'm saying? The benefits are great no matter what, but the benefits are better when you win. Let's just be honest with it.
Excellent advice.
And the platform is better when everybody comes to win.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the last team to the stage, Team Nickelus Styles. Islam Rap God. Madam V in real life. Islam Rap God. Madam V in real life.
No, it's not the last.
God antithesis when I create the premises. This is weak line when I spit it, they don't get it. They be running on YouTube, they Google the facts up to the fine talk. They thought beyond back on any track. I'm seasonal, crossing the Rubicon. When it's a calm bomb, it's a big thing with my boots on the Rubicon. The lukewarm souls, the mutes on, excuse me, Paul. They don't know what they do. Really, they realize the call wrong beat. This spitting out the back hard, nigga, that's gonna be embarrassing. You're gonna have to hide your face. Nigga, let it get quiet when I spit, nigga. I'm allowed bury it. You niggas get the cooking. When God get the cooking. Balance guard out. You dirty niggas cooking. I'm looking I paid, which means I'm the most wild in the laws. I the eye and still get you niggas hog tied. Well, I was reading Malachi just the other day. Next his question. When a man walk off, yeah, rap guard is wrong and no ball. I'm gonna throw that shit with that slack jaw that said rap guard. That shit can't be right. like, I don't know what the judges for. And like, this nigga that sounds only one who got the score right. But I saw it more like 10 all 3 rounds. Rapper top 20, we know how that shit was going down. The fight was on the wall, surprisingly wall. Even Easalio was a ball. I got respect for Rio. But I can't be on your balls. That's the type of shit she's fighting for. Every time I see you fight, we got the dirty wristband on. When you post an IG, I can feel that shit through the phone. When you got a dirty fight call, come on, bro. I know it's a rise against the back and it ain't that. It's a rise, it's single shit. Fuck that shit. I can't be on nobody's shit for my own. Too much people on my stomach. Who want it? That ain't really strong, back on. Niggas think I'm choice. Niggas not spit is real. And for real, bro, this ain't distance. It's the truth. I put them on everything. Like spicy, it's the truth. And if anybody been cool and they be cute, come live up. Cause I'll turn all of them niggas to loose spinners like I'm big strong ball. Niggas sleeping with the fishes like a man at war on nigga fall. Stomping out your minute short nigga. Nigga.
Islam rap god.
Come hither.
I gave Islam rap god. I would say that was a little. I would say that the 10 is a little generous. I thought the verse was crazy. It was super entertaining. I think that's the thing. I think if I had to say anything about Islam rap god above all else, is Islam rap god is one of the most entertaining MCs that graces our stage. His conviction, his humor, his ability to pull together like abstract lines and say things that you don't expect. Those are the strong points. There's also, and I told him in the chat, there's also holes in this game that we don't really get addressed much because his style is so original. That's another thing, originality. Jesus. Originality. His style is so original, you don't want to critique it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's
Originals, like, how can you?
there's a few MCs that have been like that. But I mean, I still think there are things content wise that we can push for.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely could have had some more haymakers this episode. You know what I'm saying?
But what are haymakers though?
Not I mean, like more standout, lines, because a lot of the stuff he was saying was more so like fun, like entertaining and funny, that rather than like impressive lyric. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I also think in this episode there was a lot of kind of like jumping around with the flow a bit, to where a lot of it wasn't in pocket. Sometimes that's cool with the way, but this one I felt like was a little more erratic than usual. Especially in the first half. The second half seemed to hit to me a lot better, but the first half was kind of like it was just kind of like a little all over the place. And I would just also say, I would love to hear Islam rap god rap more syllables. We tell a lot.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna let you finish, but I was gonna say more technicals. More technicals. Whatever ones you choose, but
yeah, I think he gets kind of like he gets away with that because, like I said, the originality of his style. It's like you don't want to tamper with it so much. It's like the all art ain't pretty theory. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything is not going to be like technically structured in a certain kind of way, but at the same time, there can be
there's just certain bars in like
levels. You mean?
Yeah.
That's
I feel like if you want to be held to that, if you're going to be up on a certain, like if you want to win and you want to be where the top guys are, there is a certain level of technical proficiency that still has to be displayed.
Some prerequisites, certain criteria.
Yeah.
Right. That's what created the separation between, you know, the top two verses of Wansky and Bravo for me, between, you know, their verses and his in the scoring.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And if I was to judge this, if I was to score this differently, I probably would have went more in the 9.5, 9 range than the 10 range. But I definitely would have at least, Ari would at least dropped it down to like a 9.5. But overall, the verse is crazy because it's doing what a Cypher verse is supposed to do, and which is, like I said before, elicit responses. Even now, we're watching this, you know, you laugh and you know what I'm saying? It's like the audacity, and
Right.
you know what I'm saying? The audacity is one of the things that is like Islam rap guys like super strong points. Like it's like that is something that you can't teach.
Mm-hmm.
He has that down pat. Like it's like, I'm gonna say something that everybody in the room is gonna pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, that somebody in this room is going to react to. And that, whether even if it's not a super technical thing, it's gonna be, and it's not to say he don't have lines. So like he be having punches. I just didn't feel like we got too many of those this time around. And to go to echo E's statement about haymakers, because he got them.
And when I say that, I just mean like stuff that elicits that reaction of impressiveness, like ooh, like you know what
Right,
I'm saying, like
right.
okay.
All right, let's make it.
I'm excited for that.
I'm sorry, madam. Look at that response. You gotta give it up for that. Like I always say, there's more than 3 judges in a room, right?
I'm excited for that.
I will have to change shit. I track like breakers, flavors to the ones that ain't shit. Break this is law, break this place, let the play. You can't repeat this shit that you need. You play like an MP, break the rules like an NPC. Pop the 3 back on top of my 60. Ain't no plot to the stack of my blessings. That's my best of you. What you can put it again to the back. I shoot moves like in a establishment. Like this one thing that I want to lose before I come up. I swallow the truth and prove up. You full of hopes and dreams until I'm people hold up. That content I get spit books with. Slick percent of the oil to cover me. I said it and I promise. I want to be straight from all the sentiments. To the vision, this shit is respected. Cut away from the vision, serving a definition. Like fishes and premonitions, don't want to push stitches. Like I still win with the same slipping. No further twisting. Faster than my black old business. They ain't even 10 million for my fingers. Sacrifice for everything. Look at me and see my secrets. I'm no man, moving and breathing on the beach. Moving the spirit, soothing my soul, my wisdom and rich. Release from choosing. Pursuing the purpose of you. I know it's mine and me. Maneuvering through the confusion. I'm finding what I'm seeking. Through the resistance, I go speaking through existence. Consistency. Consistency, manifesting the symmetry of the lake worth living. And I'm a fight to the finish. Don't give it to my soul and living. What you pulling from backwoods and trauma? Turning up the virus. Not giving a fuck about tomorrow. I got one chance left to live, one life left to give. And I'm not ready to repeat the same patterns that make a big listen. I talk with shit just like big things like ethos. You don't get it. It's like being born with a freak, so I'm walking to the small celebration. I separate you, calibrate you, for the ancient don't got people.
Listen, one of my favorite Madam V verses.
Yep.
It gave me, you know, you could tell she, and when I say this, I don't mean this in any way, but you could tell this she been boxing and steel sharpening steel among the Trey St. Fauntleroys of the world. Because what we're getting there is she's starting to master the style, like, because her style is very similar in that way, like where she has these abstract references, these poetic imagery that come at you rapidly and in like in high volume, but there hadn't been the wordplay structure that you're starting to see now.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's starting to come, there's still an out-of-pocketness in this, right?
That's why I would say like just try to slow it down a little bit and control it more that we could clearly hear them words and react to them.
I would agree that also it was a little bit too rapid, not just from a beat standpoint, but also
like
the words were cramming together a little bit to where you couldn't hear everything clearly. But I would have liked to hear that verse stretched out a little more in like slowed down just a tad, right? I feel like as you get further into this verse, you start to forget that there's a beat there. Now, although I don't think that's a great thing, it is better than what felt like before, where it seemed like she would get lost in the beat. Like now it's felt like you kind of just overpowered the beat. But what I will say, the oh my gosh, the even the MVP on Envy Me played out like an NPC, like, you know, like it was a lot of shit that was being said in that verse. So shout out to Madam B. The growth is there. The lessons are being applied. You're coming around the corner.
For sure.
She'll be coming around. Well, I'm delirious, so.
Right.
Do you have any other
nailed it.
All right.
Check. I believe what's the word? We still on hip hop vibes, right? The 50 years of hip hop this year. I'm gonna try to talk my shit while I'm acknowledging a lot of hip hop groups. Y'all rocking with me? Alright. I gotta let you know how I do it. Keep up with me too. There's gonna be a lot of them again. Gangster. Bro, like, look. Yeah, I'm back to show and I can out-rap the rappers. I'm a big boy with 3K, trying to outcast some actors. Girl, I'm being hit the freeway, oh, we spark no other traffic. You know how my fellas box. You have a fella say it backwards, it's a young fuck. I always been surrounded by gangos. My uncle murdered anything in his way, though. Not to say so, not even 50 Cent in the big bro. Just a big bro, you just the genius in this union. We take you off, let's switch styles. Cause it seems that I be thugging a lot. I got a chick, she keeps her pants and still pull up to the spot. Pull a Jada from Set It Off, the shortcut with the locks. Championship style, Chic Jada, and they all in the get Eddie Murphy, need a roll. This is life, and I nearly lost it twice. You gon' see I'm a lunatic, showing up, disturbing the peace, just like I'm ludicrous. Play back about that shit, there's no malice in these clips. Push your team bit away, and then they acting like they rich. Plus B, C, underground, I was a prince, but now I'm king when I was a fox, so it's my turn. Why these people so concerned? HZ, I had to learn. They be getting louder, yes, so the knowledge shit be stern. Hit it, Dory, the advice, and nigga gave me shit was burned. See that Glory, what's the box? Yeah, that's the burn. The plot of what I'm doing. You keep watching and you learn. Just keep watching. Look, there's a method, man. I display it. Whether there brings a lesson plan, the weapon jam, my ODP. You gotta let me spaz. I'm a chat. So look at gold face in his flesh. He call that there a Wu-Tang and biscuit for press. So I step. Then I run DMCs. Take some bet you when you fucking with me. After your debt, just cash out and cash money, please. Since a baby, I was wild and go up to a TV. A hot boy like juvenile at 400 degrees. You know, it's Turks and Caicos, eating Lego, watch a way you roll, my main girl, just me and her, we got deep, we been having in the streets, kind of genius how I think, people make some of the tricks, you look at me, cracking your head with a bottle of brandy. That's just some third shit. I'm in my element that take out a dot. It ain't no J's that I rock. You gotta put up to the scene and get the tape you back. It's gonna touch you like a sipper, and that's stay in the back. It's full of bullet cuties, just say my name on my back. I'm a top dog. With bust a rhyme, put it in most dog. A ride, dig a hole with a script on my own style. Come on, y'all. This is that who's for real.
All right. So I want to speak to this verse very specifically. Crazy verse. Oh my God. Crazy scheme. Right? Bunch of crazy schemes. Bunch of dope lines in there. I hope y'all was paying attention because we need this feedback. Because Rel felt like we slept him, right? I gave him a 9.5. F, you gave him a 9.5. Ease, you gave him a 9. He was 1 point away or 0.5 away from sudden death. I think he feels like it's probably like a 30. I'm going to tell you why it's not a 30. It's not the lyricism. The lyricism is littered. There's great lines all the way through that verse. It's the way that those lines were structured.
Yeah, and there's also parts in there where the flow got a little bit repetitive in a sense.
Because he was focused on the scheme.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you overpacked the verse with schemes and lines to support the schemes to the point where the concept of landing those in the room was lost. F, can you speak to this?
I mean, I agree. It's spacing things out. I thought the scheme was dope. But also I would just also keep in mind like don't make like, and it's not like he's done it that many times, but don't let like scheming be your trick, right? To where it becomes a thing because you've done it a few times. Like you can also just get back to this like straight barring out, this straight exhibition as well. Because the thing about those schemes, like even though we know in the room, like a lot of people are going to catch what it is that you're saying, you also run a risk of people not though, you know. So
right, you run a risk of people not, and then you run a risk of if the people are following it and they caught your last scheme, then they feel like you're pulling one over on them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I would say, don't let it become a thing.
Yeah, don't let it become where that seems like a redundant, like a trick, like a parlor trick, right? You gotta kind of space that out a bit.
Well, it sound like what we were talking about with Brav, right? When earlier, like Brav used to do a lot of conceptual scheme sort of joints,
right?
Yep. And we need a punch. I remember when Era Hardaway first came in, he came in with a crazy scheme, won, and then continued to do that for a while and wasn't able to pull out another victory with it.
Right.
So it's just something to think about.
100%. Like it's like those things are kind of like magic moments. And magic moments are hard to recreate. So I would just say that I just felt like the focus on that was so heavy in the rhyme that it didn't have like the presentation aspect down to a T where those lines could hit. It's like they were almost smothered inside the lines. You know what I'm saying? Like the best parts of the lines were in the middle of the bars, not the ends of the bars. That's I think that's
observant. Yeah.
That's the biggest piece. The best lyrical pieces that you were saying were in the middle of the bar, like as you were like the
timing it.
Yeah, it's the timing. So like when the thing you landed on wasn't the best lyrical piece. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't create or induce a reaction. And if it does, that reaction is smothering the bar you're landing on. Right.
But and I would say keep that in mind. That's for a live setting, right? Like that could be great
On a
listening
rap.
to it
Oh
on
my
a
God.
song, on a beat, whatever. That's perfect. That's like intricate and
Yep.
it's what you want. But we're talking about the room, the stage, eliciting reaction, and getting the most out of every line.
That's a fact. And shout out to Real Life. He will be battling Big Genius September 17th on Sanction. That battle has become probably the most talked about battle as of this week on that card. The face off.
Yeah, I seen the face off. That was crazy.
You know, so I'm super looking forward to that. I think if anybody, Genius is a battle rap legend in Richmond, and he by far people, and I think he's getting upset because people are starting to pick Rel to win the battle. So I mean, in a lot of circles, people would say that's kind of crazy. This is gonna be, I think, Genius like 20-something battle, and this is gonna be Rel's like 6th battle. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, if y'all think Rel not coming to talk, you got another thing coming. But if y'all know only rapidly, then you think Genia not coming to talk, you really got shit fucked up. So I'm looking forward to that battle. I think I might be looking forward to that battle more than I don't know. Let me not say that, because that Habib and Deontay Els is going to be crazy too. So oh my God, all the battles.
Like, come on, yo, like for real, yo, we gotta get somebody else to judge that shit, fam. I ain't trying to do that shit. That's gonna be a stressful ass night, fam.
I'm already trying to get.
Be sweating bullets in that joint, yo.
I'm already trying to fill the judges panel out.
Oh my gosh.
You definitely can't sit down, but I cannot judge that night. So that's
Why you can't judge, man? That's crazy.
I've been requested not to judge. We won't get into that conversation. So that, and I wasn't gonna do it anyway because there's a couple people that I'm taking a coaching role lightly on. Trying to get certain people, really just, a couple folks up to speed, you know what I'm saying? But whenever I take that role, I definitely don't consider judging. I thought I was going to do that more than I had actually been doing it. I haven't had really anybody hitting me up, maybe but one or two people, but I just ain't. But I was also requested not to judge. I ain't gonna say by who, and I ain't gonna say for what battle, but I was requested not to be a judge. So I didn't, as much as I don't like that sentiment, I will honor it. So that's that on that. But great episode 51. Sanction September 17th. Rap Elite episode 52, September 24th. You can get the multiverse bundle ticket for $30 and you're in both of the events. Any last words?
Shit. What's the beat for next episode?
They get to choose between Takeover and Ether.
Yeah. How many? Which beat gets picked more?
I feel like
I've been hearing more Takeovers.
Yeah, I feel like Takeover is gonna run that.
It'll be interesting though to see, who does who does pick what and how that affects things. I like the beat option aspect.
Yeah,
Ether is a sleeper.
That's what I'm saying. I would rap on Ether.
If you got the right pattern and approach to Ether, you can get off.
Yeah.
I would pick Ether, yo.
I know you would. I probably would.
Yeah, I would pick Ether.
I ain't gonna say I will.
Right.
Just because, like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that would definitely be the one I picked out of those two.
But there's some shit you can talk on Ether. You know what I'm saying? And you could be heard maybe a little bit better on Ether. You know what I'm saying? Like Takeover actually takes over. You know,
Yeah.
his beat is kind of
Yeah,
And Ether is a little bit slower. It's a little more breathing room. Like
I feel like I
that
like.
takeover beat is like a rock. You got to kind of like
you gotta hop on the course with that.
yeah, like
I like the hook.
uh,
I like the hook breakdown on Ether too.
yeah. Like I feel like Ether is more of like just like a straight up rap sort of beat.
And it's menacing. You know,
Yeah.
when I see the Ether beat, you know, from a synesthesia standpoint, I see green and black.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Hey, I see the same. That's cool.
when I see takeover, I see yellow. You know what I'm saying? So
I
like,
see orangish.
yeah, it's like a bright color. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would get into a dirtier kind of which Nas did. I would get into a dirtier approach, with a darker approach with Ether than I would with Takeover. More Takeover will be more flow oriented. I pockets and
I'd punch more on Ether for sure.
definitely will punch more on Ether. Probably be a little more poetic, but I would be on some super delivery shit with Takeover, and I would be on some super confident shit with Takeover too. So there's advantages on both sides. It's just how you decide to approach these joints. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. We got 2 episodes left. We gotta say this real quick. We've had 6 different champions for 6 episodes.
That's kind of crazy. That's gonna make the end of the year.
Oh my gosh!
Like that debate is. Whew.
Okay, here's another thing. September 27th. I'll go ahead and put this out here now. September 27th, we will have a Cypher. All of our champions thus far, our first 6 champions, are all invited to Cypher at the Richmond International Film Festival at Vagabond. It was one of the Richmond International Film Festival events at Vagabond.
Oh, that's fire.
I've asked them if they wanted to have that Cypher judged for consideration towards MVP. They've agreed, so we should be in attendance to do that. Somewhat like a bonus round for the champions. It's not like you're gonna get an extra Cypher championship win, but it is something to add to the conversation if things are super tight towards the end of the year. So we're gonna do that, and there's gonna be a battle, Introverse versus Era Hardaway at Richmond International Film Festival event.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
3 rounds.
3 rounds?
3 rounds.
How long are the rounds?
I think 2:30.
2 minutes? 2:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus Introvert. So that'll also be judged, obviously.
Well in last battle.
Yeah, man. So we crossing into different, different platforms and merging different audiences and crowds and putting our MCs in different spaces that they normally wouldn't be seen in. This is what you get from this multiverse that is Rap Elite and Southpaw. Just different opportunities, man, all across the board. And last but not least,
the fuck? Oh, shit.
We have a belt for our Sound Clash champion.
Oh,
this is a house belt. Our Sound Clash champions will not be able to walk away and keep the house. But if you are the Sound Clash champion, when you are in the building at Rap Elite, it is yours to
look at and
to carry around.
Carry it around the building.
Keep it.
Check it back in. Coat check.
Back in. Bring it back.
Coat check.
But as of right now, this belongs to Blaine Coops.
Shout out to Blaine Coops.
Shout out to Blaine Coops. We have a road to Flag on the Moon is going on. Keziah versus Kid Deceptive going down to episode 52. The winner will face Blaine Coops at season finale. And the winner of that will go on to Flag on the Moon. We'll also go on to to perform at the Cool Keith concert tour stop event at Ember in November. Yeah, lots of opportunities, man. So we're out of here. We've been on here way too long.
Yes, yo. Good night, you guys.
Appreciate you. Those 7 and 6 that are still on, shout out to y'all. We always appreciate those that hang out with us to the end. So
Yeah, for sure.
peace.